Here in memory of John Robertson, who I'm sure you're aware has passed away recently, Scottish footballing legend. And ahead of the action to come, Celtic Park pauses in memory of John Robertson here. Well, warm applause across Celtic Park in memory of John Robertson, who played his senior club football in England with Nottingham Forest and Derby County, but 28 caps for Scotland, and a tribute and a memory for a player who won't be forgotten anytime soon. He was one of the greats, Pat.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at what he won in his career is one thing, but how he did it with something with Forest within fancy clubs. But I used to try and copy all the skills of every attacking winger when I was growing up. You couldn't copy him. It was just unstoppable the way he went past players from a standing start. What a fabulous player.
Here we go then. Celtic against Rangers, 5 Live at BBC Sounds, live from Glasgow this Saturday lunchtime. Stevie McLean is the referee, hoping to keep the peace down there. 4th time he's been in charge of one of these games. We're underway. Celtic playing from left to right as we look down. Ball is pumped long by Jack Butland, the Rangers goalkeeper, long into the Celtic half, where Gassama's going to try and keep it in play down by the corner flag. He's a tricky, jinking winger, and he hammers the ball off the shin pads of Kieran Tierney. The ball goes out of play, and the first throw in of the match is for Rangers down the right-hand side. Under pressure, Celtic boss Wilfred Nancy has made 3 changes from the starting 11 that took on Motherwell in midweek. Luke McCowan, Arne Engels and John Kenny into the team in place of Liam Scales, Rio Hatate and Paolo Bernardo. And for Rangers, 2 changes for Danny Rowe. For the starting team that face St Mirren, Dujon Sterling in at right back, Connor Barron into the midfield, replacing Tavernier and Diomande. Rangers have possession again. It's rolled back to Jack Butland, who saved a penalty against St Mirren in midweek. He launches it long again targeting down that right wing as Rangers come forward, and the ball is hammered here by McCowan up over the halfway line. Kenny will chase after it, but a long head start for Suter to get there first and touch it back to Butland once again. Cacophony of noise, as there always is when these two meet. Tilo Asgard, the Norwegian, has it. He was sent off against Celtic the last time these sides met. As at the back, Anthony Ralston controls and rolls it back along the ground to Kasper Schmeichel, who will want sure footing today, Pat. Schmeichel dropped a bit of a clanger with a poor clearance in midweek.
To be honest, there's been a few questions over Kasper Schmeichel this season, and it's not just a clanger like that. You know, with the ball at his feet, he's not always the very best, and as I've said many times, he's a fabulous shot stopper. I mean, real fabulous shot stopper. But command in his box, that's absolutely not his forte, and that's the difficulty when you've not got 3 out-and-out centre-backs. You've got 1 centre-back out there and 2 full-backs acting as centre-backs.
Yes, you mentioned the similarities as Schmeichel comes sprinting out of his penalty area here to clear the ball away ahead of Chamiti. The similarities with Ruben Amorim at Manchester United, a coach who comes into a team that hasn't been playing well, has a very defined system as to how he wants to play, and yet the evidence would suggest that the players aren't exactly, square pegs and square holes for him. Anthony Ralston, normally a right back, has been playing part of the back 3. Kieran Tierney, who has played as central defender, but naturally through his career he's been a full back or a wing back. So it's not ideal, particularly in a game like this.
Yeah, but he knows how he wants to play out to the back, as we say that. Kasper Schmeichel plays it out to Ralston, and that's how they want to play the game. But it's what happens after that. It's keeping control of the ball and keeping control of the game after that. It seems to be a particular problem for Celtic at the moment.
Engels gives it back to Ralston, back to the feet of Kasper Schmeichel, who's wearing a black and grey goalkeeping outfit away to our left-hand side. Celtic 0, Rangers 0 in the crisp, cold, bright sunshine, though, of this January Saturday in Glasgow. Callum McGregor gives it to his right-hand side. Aaron Trusty launches one long. This is a chance for Yang to come forward, but well dealt with by Magoma. Ball is still in play here. As appeals come up, and everyone's claiming they were fouled by someone else. The referee, Emmanuel Fernandez for Rangers, and Arne Engels for Celtic. Engels is the last to get back up to his feet. He's on the ground, and he's implying that he's been elbowed in the face.
Yeah, I mean, if you've not been elbowed in the face, it's right in front of us, but the play was slightly away from us, so we couldn't actually see from our angle. I suspect there is contact there. Whether it's deliberate contact or not is maybe the more important thing. I think it was just real power, real strength there. From, was it Fernandez that was holding him off?
Yeah, we think it was more of a palm to the face than an elbow to the face, but Arne Engels is slow to get back to his feet. So while we've got a break in play here, Celtic 0, Rangers 0. Let's get an update from the Premier League's early kick-off today. Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. Here's John Akers.
Aston Villa should be ahead, Connor. Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Ollie Watkins, Forest gifted in the ball in the penalty area, 8 yards out, on his right foot, with time. Good save from Victor with his legs, but on his 250th appearance, should have scored. Villa 0, Forest 0.
Thanks very much, John. 0-0 here between Celtic and Rangers. Pat, you've been able to see a replay of that, maybe more than a palm in the face.
He got an elbow right in the chin, and it wasn't soft. He really got it. Now, what the referee's saying is, that was just a tussle, it wasn't deliberate, his face was in the way. Other referees would have looked at that more harshly.
Here's Dujon Sterling, who hasn't played, or didn't play at all this season until December. This is his 5th game now. In the last month or so, John Souttar in field, who scored against Celtic 3 seasons ago. And he'll pass it back to Emmanuel Fernandez, tall central defender who's got the socks pulled up over his knees. Nygren comes in to close him down, so he turns and rolls it back to Jack Butland. And again, that same tactic from Rangers, high long, down the right wing towards Kieran Tierney, who is able to clear the ball away on that occasion. Sterling will send it forward. Chermiti's got to run from a central location to try and get there. Down goes Tierney as soon as contact arrives, and the referee gives the free kick to Celtic.
You're right, that's the position the Rangers are playing into. Because if you play with a back three, Tierney being the furthest left, nothing wrong with his defending. But McGowan in front of him. Now, he's a very good player, but not a natural wing back. And often when you play against a back three, stroke five, those are the gaps. Those are the areas. And they've looked at the chances that Celtic have given away recently and thought, right, okay, that might be an area that we'll have to check out. So that's obviously Rangers' early plan.
Celtic with Schmeichel in goal behind Ralston, Trusty and Tierney as a back three. Yang and McCowan, the wing backs. McGregor and Engels in the middle, with Nygren and Maida in support of Johnny Kenny in attack. Rangers with Butland the goalkeeper, back four for the visitors. Sterling, Souttar, Fernandez and Magoma, with Asgard, Raskin and Barron in the midfield, and then Gassama and Moore either side of Yusuf Chermiti. Mikey Moore on loan from Spurs, has got 2 league goals since joining Rangers this season. Throw it in the right full-back position for Celtic. Ralston takes his time over it. 0-0. And these two teams who are well used to being close to each other at the top of the table. What they're not used to is having someone else ahead of them. Hearts has started the day 3 points ahead of Celtic, 6 points ahead of Rangers. Asgard is going to see yellow. Got a red card in the League Cup when they met in November. The Norwegian picks up an early yellow card today.
You cannot argue for that for a second if you're Asgard. Beat him to the ball, he's basically just grabbed the shirt back. If you do that in any game at any level, that's got to be a yellow card. And as you say, he was sent off for a straight red card in that cup game. Funny enough, it looked horrendous. I actually think it was undeliberate, but it looked horrendous. So Asgard now, well, he's going to have to tiptoe.
You won't be surprised to hear red cards do play a prominent part in these Old Firm derbies. Since Rangers' promotion back up to the top tier, there's been 10 red cards shown in League Old Firm derbies, 7 of them for Rangers, who've got possession at the moment. Conor Barron tries to come through the midfield, gives it back to the Belgian Nico Racing. Good ball to the right-hand side to Gassama. Here comes his cross, but he's pumped it way too high. He had the adrenaline flowing there. He's got underneath and he's launched it over all of his teammates, and that goes harmlessly out for a goal kick to Celtic. Still 0-0 on 5 Live at BBC Sounds.
Yeah, and look, McCowan there. That was the area. The ball goes out to Gassama. Nobody near him. He's between the left wing back and the left centre back, so there's a huge gap there. The paucity of the cross was very disappointing if you're a Rangers fan, because with that amount of space, you should be able to put it into a danger area. A lot of pulling and shoving at the moment, a lot of grabbing of shirts at the moment. Tough one for referees. It always is at the start of, a game like this, because it does start at 100 miles an hour. There are a few tackles and a few fouls, and the referee tries to let it go a little bit. But if it's a tug back and a drag back of a shirt, he's not getting option.
Good run by Kelly. In behind the central defenders, gets to the byline, right hand side, drills it in low, and all it needed was a touch, and Maida was there, but he couldn't get the final boot onto it. That was a good run made by Kenny. That's the best and most dangerous attack from Celtic so far. 8 minutes played, Celtic 0, Rangers 0. Ball still in play by the corner flag that Celtic attack down the left hand side. It's a real scramble over there. McCowan tries to deliver in across, too many bodies in the way, and then Callum McGregor will just nudge it back to Aaron Trusty, and the crowd raises the volume up another notch.
Well, the Irishman done brilliantly there, didn't he? But he didn't have to do a lot. Just timed his run well. The found himself with about 5 yards of space. Great ball in, nobody in the end of it.
Chance for Maida to attack down the left-hand side. He thought he was tripped there by Sterling. The referee says no. Maida gets back up to his feet. To be fair to him, actually, the crowd made more of that than the Japanese international. He just got up and ran back, but the crowd were baying for a free kick. No whistle play on. Tierney has possession for Celtic on the left-hand side of the defence, and he rolls it back into Aaron Trusty. Kieran Tierney has got an incredible record in Old Firm derbies. No post-war player has played in as many of these league games without defeat than Kieran Tierney. He's never lost to Rangers in a game inside of 90 minutes, which is some record, you have to say. Tierney here plays it up towards the halfway line. Kenny with a great flick on. Maida now, chance to come forward, doesn't fancy the sprint, plays it in early. And trying to pick out Yang on the right hand side. He'll play it back towards Ralston. That felt like a good counter-attacking opportunity for Celtic, but they weren't fully able to grasp a hold of it. They will come again as a shot is played in, but that is not causing any problem from Engels, and it's wide of the target, and it's a goal kick for Jack Butland away to our right hand side. 0-0.
That's twice Celtic have got through that defence, and really quite easily as well. Should have done a little bit better than that. I think he should have gone down the left a little bit more and dragged defenders over towards him. He played an early ball, and Yang was never going to get in the end of that, and the attack petered out. But that would have lifted the Celtic fans there. Twice they've got behind that Rangers back line, which is looking a bit static.
Rangers have possession in defence. McGoma gets clattered into by Yang. Chamiti sliding in on him as Ralston, then Trusty goes sliding in on Barron. This is what the Celtic fans want to see, given the context of this game, given how out of sorts their team has been. Bare minimum, they want 100% commitment in those sort of 50-50 challenges today.
Yeah, they've definitely got it, but it's the same for both sides at the moment. It is a very physical game. You don't expect anything else. And I think most of the players know that in the early part of games between Celtic and Rangers, the referees are desperate not to give out yellow cards. If you go at your pocket too early, you could end up having 4 or 5 yellows, because it is that type of game. So far, 1 yellow, and I think the referee's got it just about right.
Ralston wins header. Yang won't be able to keep it in play. Wilfred Nancy applauding now. They're making a real show of it. He's got black gloves on. He's clapping his hands. He wants to try and create positivity in a team that has lost 5 of their 7 games that he's been in control of so far. I mean, just coming into the crowd, you don't hear many positive words being said about the current Celtic manager, and that's from his own supporters, let alone what the opposition will think of it. What I thought was telling, when Nancy's name was read out, they read out all the players, they mentioned the manager as well. The Rangers fans all cheered Wilfred Nancy's name. Here's a chance, Nygren in the penalty area, couldn't quite get it onto his right boot to shoot. Important sliding challenge from Raskin, and the ball is still in play, is it? No, Barron will allow it go out. And Mikey Moore, that was, who allowed it to go out. He knows it'll be a Rangers throw-in, left-hand side of their defence. Celtic are trying to put the heat on a Rangers team who've been playing well lately. Poor clearance by Fernandes under pressure. Down the right-hand side comes Kenny. He's low cross in. Fernandes makes the interception. Back out to Kelly again, number 24 on his back. Gives it to the experienced Callum McGregor, who's now played the most Old Firm appearances of any Celtic player this century. Back to Ralston again. All of Celtic's outfield players are at least 10 yards up inside Rangers territory. Nygren's allowed to turn. Gives it to Yang on the right-hand side. 15 yards on the byline. Sends in a low cross miss for the first defender, but Rangers are able to clear it away up to the halfway line, where Chermiti looks isolated, and then Ralston goes down as if he's been kicked from behind by Chermiti. Referee blows the whistle. It's going to be a free kick to Celtic. Doesn't look like there's going to be any further punishment though. And Celtic take it quickly. And this is Nygren, tries to play in a low cross, Suter well positioned, puts it out for a corner. Celtic on top of the moment, Pat Nevin, 0-0.
Celtic fans had to be given a chance to react to. They didn't react to the first 10 minutes at all. They were waiting for the team to lift them. Well, they've lifted them the last 4 or 5 minutes. Time and again, they're getting behind that very static looking, very straight looking back line of Rangers. It's not difficult for them. They've got into good positions, no clear-cut chances, but certainly well on top now, Celtic.
Rangers, who've struggled with defending corners recently. St Mirren's goal in midweek came from a corner. There's the ball in. Trusty's header just off target. Big chance, free header for the central defender. He leapt well, he got his forehead to it, he's put it wide to the right hand side. That's a glorious opportunity in a game like this. Let's go to Villa Park. Villa against Forest. John Akers.
It's 0-0 and we've had 15 minutes of the game. 82% possession, Aston Villa, and Ollie Watkins. Will he be made to rue that missed chance in the second minute of the game? Should have scored. Villa 0, Forest 0.
Ollie Watkins, who got 2 against Chelsea, scored against Arsenal on a bit of a roll after what had been a barren spell for him. Chermiti has played a good ball forward here. So Sterling all the way to the byline is tracked by Trusty. Trusty, whose header went wide just a moment ago, makes the tackle and the ball goes out of play for a throw into Rangers on the right hand side. 0-0 in the Old Firm derby on 5 Live.
I mean, Rangers must be so relieved at that. I mean, Trusty is a clear header. He's not being challenged. He's 7 or 8 yards out. He's centre of the goal. He just got to get on target. He gets it towards the back post there. No one on the post. Keeper's nowhere near it. That simply has to be on target and Celtic be 1-0 up.
Foul on Asgard in an attacking position for Rangers, wide out on the right hand side, right against the chalk of the touchline. But an opportunity to swing in this free kick. Conor Barron is placing the ball onto the turf. And Celtic, who came close with a corner kick just a moment ago. Let's see what Rangers can do with an attacking set piece here. 0-0. Corner for now played. Celtic with the best chances so far. No Tavernier in the team, who often takes set pieces for Rangers, and there's so much jostling for position that referee is just asking Barron to hold it up here. Quite condensed along the line where the penalty spot is. Rangers with most of their attacking players at the far post from where this is going to come, but we know that they will of course swarm infield as the ball is delivered. Huge pressure on the Celtic head coach Wilfred Nancy, especially in the build-up to this game. Barron now invited to take the free kick. Raises his left hand as a signal to teammates in the centre. Here it comes, right-footed delivery, and it's met by Maeda, who heads it out of the penalty area. Then there's a miscue by Gassama, who tried to knock it back in. Eventually the ball is launched towards the edge of the Celtic penalty area. Ralston is able to win a header there. Dujon Sterling unable to take it down comfortably. Maybe chance of a counter-attack here for Celtic as they work it to Junjun Yang on the right hand side. He tried to play it early into the middle, and then there's a hesitation in there by Sterling, who should have cleared the ball away. Kenny was able to force a pass, but it all breaks down ultimately for Celtic. Luke McCowan, the left-sided player who found himself on the right wing, is only able to put it out for a goal kick to Rangers, and scoreless it remains on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Scoreless, but very lively indeed. It's gone 100 miles an hour. There's been some good play in the midfield there, but the thing that's jumping out right now is that Rangers backline looks so jittery. They don't look as if they're working together. None of the players wants to get on the ball and looks comfortable on the ball just now, but it's up to Celtic to make some capital out of that while they are looking so jittery.
Rangers had a terrible start to the season, but have dramatically improved against a Celtic team that have fallen off the rails in recent times, but for all of that, Celtic could be still level at the top of the table by the end of the day. There's always a redemptive quality. There's always a chance to redeem yourself when you play for one of the old firm clubs. Celtic give away a corner to Rangers down the left-hand side. Bright sunshine evident in the air, though none of it on the pitch. It's a low sunshine, so the stands here are completely shadowing the playing surface down below us as Barron makes his way across to take this corner kick.
Yeah, and just look at Rangers. I mean, they've not looked that dangerous from corners so far, but they have got the likes of Jermiti. Suter is very, very good in the air, and don't ignore Asgard either. Not absolutely noted for it, but he's a tall lad who can score.
Celtic fans who've been behind their team, but this is a nervous moment. The corner comes in high, lofted. Fernandez of the back post tries to nod it infield. He's got to sit up for Gassama here on the right hand side, tries to send in a cross. Sterling is in the penalty area, but he's back to goal, and that goes out for a goal kick to Celtic. And immediately, using the multi-ball system, Kasper Schmeichel plants the ball onto the deck and plays it out early. And Celtic, who are keen to keep on top in a game that they've held the balance in so far. This is Ralston. Confidence, of course, can be veneer thin for Celtic if anything was to go wrong here, given their recent run, given the amount of goals they've conceded lately. John Suter plays it forward, up towards the tall frame of Chermiti. He's tall, but he's slight, and he's outmuscled there by Trusty. Warm applause around the stadium as Kieran Tierney comes out of defence for Celtic, slaloms over one challenge, then he's fouled, but the referee plays on because the loose ball has fallen to Maida. Great ball in, Kenny! Saved by Butland! Right-footed shot low. He didn't tuck it into the corner. He gave the goalkeeper a chance, but that's still a huge stop from Jack Butland. That's the best chance of the game so far, 0-0.
It certainly is. And the ease in which Celtic are breaking and getting through that back line, it's almost effortless. Celtic should be 2-0 up by now.
Here comes Yang. Great dribble into the penalty area. Shoots and scores! Beats Butland at the near post. Into the top corner. The explosion of joy and relief for the Celtic fans. That's a brilliant goal by Yang. Thundered into the top corner. It's Celtic 1, Rangers 0 at Celtic Park.
Well, Yang has had plenty of critics over the years here. The time he's been here, he's never quite fulfilled his promise. However, this moment might change a huge amount for Yang. He keeps on being played because they know he's capable of it. He has got the technique, he has got the skill, and he put it all together there. Real power, goes into it. It's a tough angle to score from, but he's absolutely ripped it at the near post there. Absolutely nothing Butland can do about it. It's 1-0, and the only disappointment for Celtic just now is that it's only 1-0. It could have been more by now.
That is a superb finish from Chung Chun Yang. Scored at Livingston last weekend, and you cannot put a value on what that is worth to Wilfred Nancy. The pressure he's been under. Celtic score first in the Old Firm derby on 5 Live.
Well, scored first and are playing extremely well in the last 10 minutes or so. From about the 10th minute on, they've been absolutely superb. Pace has been superb. They've got past that back line time and time again. They've created great chances. Certainly the header for Trusty should have been scored as well. Just before that, Kenny, he just needed to lift the ball, and that was an easy tap in as well. But they've got their goal. Now for Celtic, you think you've got to press their advantage home now. They're absolutely on top. They shouldn't drop it, and I'm sure that's exactly what Wilfred Nancy is trying to get that information out of the park right now.
After the recent run of results, after that press conference yesterday, Wilfred Nancy needed a performance today. So far his team are delivering. Celtic leading Rangers here. What about the Premier League? In the early kick-off at Villa Park, John Akers.
Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0, 23 minutes gone here. Villa are just camped in Forest half. Martson's just had a shot wide from 20 yards, but they are not able to find a way through Forest as yet. Villa 0, Forest 0.
Thanks very much, John. So Celtic in front here. The last 109 league meetings of these teams, there's only been 5 occasions for the team that scored first in an Old Firm League derby ended up losing the match. This is the goal scorer in possession. Yang on the right-hand side, playing a good ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and Benjamin Nygren felt he was fouled. Play on, says the referee, as Mikey Moore tries to bring it away from the Rangers penalty area. Rangers have found it hard to make that adjustment from defence through the midfield in the early stages here. There's a foul on McGoma. That's going to be a free kick to Rangers left full-back position for there.
A big part of the Rangers' problem is when it goes forward, it doesn't stick. Jamaica hasn't, as you suggested before correctly, he's tall, but he's not that physical, and he's being bullied at the moment by Trusty. As I say that, he's just one ahead, but it's not sticking up there. That's the problem. And it isn't sticking, then you don't get Mikey Moore getting the ball in the final third. He's hardly had an attempt to go and attack the fullback or the wing back at any point so far.
First goal so important today. Celtic have got it. Emmanuel Fernandez rolls the ball back to Jack Butland. Keepers never like to be beaten at their near post, Pat, but that's one of those. It's thundered to that top corner. It would have been a world-class save if Butland had got anywhere near it.
I think if they get beat at their near post and it's low or
Correct.
It's at their level, that's fine. But when it's in the top corner, there's nothing you can do at that pace.
Celtic bossing it at the moment. Young Mikey Moore is only a teenager, had a good manoeuvre to cut infield off the left wing, but then a sliding tackle came thundering in on him. McGregor brings it up well up over the halfway line, almost to the edge of the Rangers penalty area, and wins a throw in. And you can see as he got back up to his feet there, he was waving his left hand up and down. He's trying to drum up the crowd. He's saying, let's not take the foot off the throat here. He wants this atmosphere to remain as vociferous as it is at the moment. It's a throw in. Yang for a moment thought it was a free, but he's got the ball back in his hands again here. Jan's goal has Celtic in front. Ralston on the halfway line tries to clear the ball away. Raskin with a little block, but he can't get possession for Rangers. This is Trusty inside the centre circle. Poor ball, gives possession away. Gassama for Rangers, taking on Tierney, getting into the penalty area. Gassama's low cross is good. Ralston sliding in just in front of Chermiti. Out comes Schmeichel. Oh, hang on, what's he doing? Moore will try and chip it over him. Schmeichel was trying to recover back to the goal line. It was blocked by a defender, and Celtic breathe a huge sigh of relief if they take the ball away.
Absolutely all over the place at the back, Celtic. When you get a game like this, when there are weaknesses, clear weaknesses in both defences, it's 1-0 already, but it really doesn't feel like it's going to finish at 1-0 in this game.
Mikey Moore for Rangers, midway inside Celtic territory. Rangers playing right to left as we look down. Moore gives it away. Yang is having a storming match. Plays the ball in front of Kenny towards the edge of the penalty area. Left-footed shot from Kenny is blocked. Blocked by John Suter. Celtic have looked really dangerous on the counter-attack in these opening 25 minutes. They lead Rangers on 5 Live by a 1-0.
They lead it, but you're saying every single time they attack, they look as if they're going to make a chance, and it's coming from every single angle. It's right, it's left, it's from midfield, but it's the pace, isn't it? They have got the pace of that Rangers back line, and that's frightening if you're a defender.
Raskin tries to play it forward, looking for Chermiti, intercepted by Trusty for Celtic. Connor Barron gets possession back for the visitors inside the centre circle, rolls it to the right hand side to Dujon Sterling. No James Tavernier, who's been a heartbeat for Rangers over the last decade or so. Here's an opportunity. Schmeichel comes off his goal line and it's clipped just off target. Gassama wide. Rangers could easily have equalised there. It was a through ball which the Celtic defence did not react. Schmeichel ran out towards it. Gassama got there just ahead of him. He tried to dink it over the goalkeeper, and agonisingly for Rangers, it goes wide. That's a huge scare for Celtic.
Massive scare. Well done, Kasper Schmeichel. That is what he's very good at, being a shot stopper. However, how much space did Gassama get there? He is the most dangerous player that Rangers have got. He's the most skillful player that Rangers have got, and he had the freedom of Celtic Park there. He did all the right things. He tried to clip it over the keeper, and he just got a little bit of his body onto it.
Good save by Schmeichel. JD Gassama showing a real clean pair of heels there. That's a dreadful corner. Connor Barron has just played the ball straight to Yang, who clears it away, and I've no idea what Barron was trying to do there. He just didn't see the opponent. Ball is pumped back in. No one marking on the far side. Gassama tried to take it down on his chest. Didn't have room to do that. And it's 3-on-1. Celtic on the break here. Rangers had everyone forward for the corner. Maida. They're desperately trying to get numbers back. Gives it back to Kenny. Just outside the penalty area. The support is back now. Celtic took too long. They still have possession though with Maida, who's still inside the penalty area. But now there's 6 defenders back. That was a huge opportunity for Celtic. They perhaps should have been more incisive there.
And how naive to leave yourself 3-on-1. It's actually astonishing. Question of the Rangers defending so far, but Well, you can't defend. Was only 1 against 3. They got away with one there again.
McGregor gives it across to Ralston midway inside Rangers territory. Negrin tries to pick out a tight angle pass. There wasn't the room to play that ball. Rangers get it back again. Better holding up this time from Chermiti, and then it's helped on again. And Chermiti tries to play it out to the left wing to Gassama, but this time it's cut out by Yang. And the relentless, non-stop nature of this game continues. Another good run made by Negrin. No one picking him up. Low ball into the penalty area. Flashes behind Kenny and behind Maida, and to Rangers' relief it's picked up by Barron in the right full-back position, and then he tries to play a strange crossfield ball. There was no need for that, putting Gassam under pressure. Ralston thunders in like his life depends on it to win the challenge against Mikey Moore, and the ball ends up in the gloves of Jack Butland away to our right-hand side. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It's the Old Firm derby. It's been helter-skelter so far. Celtic leading Rangers by a goal to nil. We've played 28 minutes. Here's Pat Nevin.
The way Celtic are playing is you've got Kenny up front most of the time trying to stretch the defence. He's doing that, but the players that are coming from midfield at Engels, Negrin and Maeda, nobody is following them from the midfield. They're running from that area and they're saying, well, I'll pass you on to defenders who are not even looking. So just running into gaps, running into space. It is extraordinary, the naivety you're seeing from that Rangers midfield and the defence just now.
Rangers will hope there's still time to put this right. They have won 8 of their 11 games since the new manager's arrival. Emmanuel Fernandez here gets to the ball ahead of Kenny, pretends to play it back to the goalkeeper and then cuts back at himself. That was good. Rangers need a big deep breath here. They need a reset. Rangers, who have scored more league goals this season than Celtic have. There's still a way back into this, but there's no doubt this has been the best performance from Wilfred Natsi since his arrival so far, and there is a long way to go. We haven't even had a third of the game yet. This is Magoma on the left hand side, plays it up to Nico Raskin. Poor ball back in field allows Yang slide in. Rangers, the roar of the crowd will tell you that the home side have recaptured possession once again. Ralston on the edge of the penalty area plays a calming ball to Callum McGregor. McGregor, who scored against Rangers the last time these sides met, and he scored the last time that Rangers played at this stadium too, last season. This is Schmeichel giving the ball out to Aaron Trusty on the left hand side. Tierney outside of him, down that left wing looking for the Japanese international Daisen Maeda. 3 goals against Rangers last season for Maeda. McGregor's played a good ball over the top here, and once again Rangers getting cut out. They're too high up the field as those balls are played in behind them. Celtic want a free kick. Referee says no. Play on. Ascot. Why do they keep playing these balls across the edge of the penalty area? Rangers is putting pressure on where it shouldn't be needed. Down goes Kenny inside the box. The defender was Emmanuel Fernandez. Kenny looking for a penalty. He's not going to get it there. But we've Barron doing it. We had Asgard doing it. These high balls across the edge of their own penalty area is surely flirting with trouble for Rangers.
Well, it's bizarre because Celtic's system is they've got one striker up, but they've got 5 people in the midfield that are going to go and attack that ball. So they're overloading it and getting that possession time and again when Rangers try and play that ball across. So system-wise, Celtic are winning this with bells on so far. But the other thing, talking about that, those deep runs from midfield or area, I mentioned everyone that was doing it, but I never mentioned McCowan. I should have. He's just done it, and he almost got through there. He was just unlucky the ball didn't reach him. Rangers have got to follow the men. It's one of the earliest things you learn.
Celtic 1, Rangers 0. We've reached the half-hour mark. Important to say that Rangers have come from behind to win more points in the Scottish Premiership this season than any other team. Celtic come on the attack again, and Kenny, who's had a really bright start to the game, one of the 3 changes in the team. He's getting on the end of so many passes. He's getting in behind the Rangers defence with such regularity so far. This is Trusty on the halfway line, giving it to Tierney. Tierney comes infield. Always an elegant player, Kieran Tierney picks out a pass up towards Negrin. Negrin just about holding on to possession, and then a chance to turn here, and there's no way through in a crowded area on the edge of the Rangers penalty area. So Mikey Moore tries to drop his shoulder, but Callum McGregor has seen all of that before, and he wins it back. Negrin, edge of the box, Kenny, left-footed shot, brilliant save. Butland diving down to his right-hand side. That was so well struck but Jack Butland makes a really important save to keep the deficit at just 1 for Rangers. Tierney lofts one in, Yang in the back post, tries to head it in, it's really tight, and it's acrobatically cleared off the goal line by Emmanuel Fernandez. Rangers haven't fully cleared, and the attempted follow-up from Nygren is off target. Well, there's about 3 chances in 1 there, and Celtic will be really disappointed that they haven't doubled their lead. What a save from Jack Butland.
The save was absolutely fantastic. There was no back lift from Kenny Shaw, was it? Left-footed, pinged it low, he gets down really quickly and palms that across, but it wasn't away. When the ball was headed back in by Yang, it had to be cleared off the line. I think it was by Fernandez, and it's Fernandez who stayed down. I don't think he fancies it today. He looks terribly naive, and when he's been playing with Rangers recently, he's looked pretty good. Now I just wonder, is he carrying an injury because he's not following his marker? And you look at the difference with Chermiti up front for Rangers, trying to get anything out of Trusty, getting nothing. Whereas the other side, you look at young Kenny, he's just running them ragged up there.
Wonder if Emmanuel Fernandez is winded here. He did that sort of bicycle kick off the goal line. He landed flat on his back. The medical staff has come on and he's back up at his feet. While we've got a break in play here, Celtic leading Rangers at Celtic Park in Glasgow. Let's go to Birmingham, to Villa Park. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and John Akers.
0-0, Connor. 34 minutes of the game gone. Aston Villa have just won a free kick. Forest have had some territory for the first time in the game, and Amari Hutchinson has had a left foot shot from the corner of the penalty area, saved by Martinez. Villa still very much on top, but 0-0.
Thanks. Emmanuel Fernandez has had to leave the field here having received treatment. He's waiting for the invitation to come back on again. He's looking back over some of Rangers' recent games. He's a real threat in the opposition penalty area. He's got 2 goals in his last 4 games, Emmanuel Fernandez, but maybe better in that advanced end of the field and sometimes in his own penalty area.
He's not seeing the pictures at the moment, and players are running behind him. Having said that, he's been overloaded by those midfielders running onto him, and he doesn't really know where to go half the time. So some of the time it looks like his fault, and it isn't. I've done it again.
McCowan plays a pass down the left flank. There's no one marking in the centre. Chance of a shot to be played in by Arne Engels, and that's blocked just to the edge of the Rangers penalty area. Ralston trying to make the pitch wide here, plays it to the near side to Yang. If you're only joining our coverage, a quite brilliant goal from Chun Yang has separated these teams. He thundered a run into the penalty area, tight angle on the right hand side, but he lashed it into the near top corner. Just the sort of start to the game that under pressure Celtic head coach Wilfred Nancy would have wanted here today. Ball back in play. Aaron Trusty has it at the rear and the base of the Celtic defence. Gives it to his left-hand side to Kieran Tierney. Tierney rolls the ball back to goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, who's had to make a very important save down the other end to deny JD Gassama. For the first time today, the feeling of a breath here as the ball is played by Ralston, and Rangers are cut out again, and Yang into the penalty area. Butland gets there just in time, and I mean by a whisker. Butland bravely diving out at the feet of Yang to gather possession back for Rangers. It's too easy how Celtic are getting in behind.
Took the words out of my mouth. Absolutely took the words out of my mouth. It's the simplicity of it. Plenty of time on the ball. You says it calmed down because he had that much time on the ball. Things over the top, and Celtic are in and goal. The one-touch move. It should take much more than that.
Unable to get possession from Raskin. Raskin plays it up towards Mikey Moore. He's immediately closed on by Anthony Ralston. I've been very impressed with Ralston today. He's had a storming start to this game. 35 minutes exactly on the big stadium clock. Celtic leading Rangers by 1-0. Celtic can move level on points with Hearts at the top of the table if it stays like this. Jayden Magoma is about to take a throw in for Rangers, trying to pick out Chermiti. Yang gets there first, ball goes out again. That'll be another throw in to Rangers, but a good 15-20 yards further up the field.
The other thing on top of all that, Rangers fans, it's a hard time for them just now. They've had little to cheer about. One really good chance, just that one good chance for Gassama, but they've been out-muscled as well as been outplayed. Tactically they've been beaten as well. Chances wise they're getting absolutely thrashed at the moment in time, and that's why Celtic, they will be on to get another goal before half time, because you just think Daniel Rowe, he's got to do something at half time. He's got to change it, he's got to bring more physicality on, he's got to have a word with that defence.
Down goes Asgard, midway inside his own half, wins the free kick for Rangers. Celtic in their last 5 games under the caretaker role of Martin O'Neill, they only conceded 1 goal in those 5 matches. Before today, under Wilfred Nancy, Celtic had conceded 9 goals in their last 5 Scottish Premiership games. So Rangers know that this Celtic defence, for all the prowess they've shown in the early stages here, they do have an error in them. They do have a vulnerability, and 1-0 can always be a dangerous lead in football, but there's no doubt Celtic on top here. Arne Engels gives it to the goalscorer Yang on the right-hand side. He tries to take on the fullback Magoma. Oh, he's done Magoma. Here comes the ball into the centre, headed downwards towards the bottom corner is saved. Luke McCowan, who scored in the win at Partick in September, was able to get a free header there. He planted it where he would have wanted into the bottom corner, but Butland, who's been Rangers' best player, gets down to make the save.
Yeah, brilliant play again by Yang, and as I said before, he's not always liked by the Celtic fans, but today's having one of his best games.
Rangers give it away in the midfield, and good work from Asgard, and Barron win it back again. Nygren putting pressure on. Raskin felt he was fouled. Referee is allowing it all go here. Ball played by Dujon Sterling ahead of Chamiti down the right wing for Rangers. Good pace from Chamiti to get to the byline. Now who's up with him? He tries to cut it back, but he cuts it back to Austin Trusty, and the Celtic defender can easily clear away.
It was so tough for the Rangers players, particularly Moore and Asgard, to get up there, because Chamiti's pace was fantastic down that right hand side. First time we've seen it in the game so far. However, Asgard playing in a 10 position, it's your job to be in there and on the end of it, and he was too slow getting there.
Yusuf Chamiti, who Rangers spent £8 million to sign from Everton in the summer. He's only scored 2 league goals so far. He got the late consolation in the defeat at Hearts before Christmas. That was 3 games ago. Chamiti trying to show the Rangers supporters that he can be their solution in that central attacking role. Ball goes out of play in front of Wilfred Nancy. He's got a real padded warm coat on him. He's kept the gloves on since kick-off of what is a cold day in Glasgow. Bright sunshine though, blue skies overhead. Rangers blue in the skies, Celtic green on the pitch. Celtic leading Rangers by a 1-0 here. The goal from Yang came midway through this first half. Half-time beginning to approach now, 6.5 minutes of normal time to go until the break. Celtic have got a throw in front of the Rangers dugout. Danny Raw, 75 days in the job, arms folded across his chest, trying to pick out the positives here and trying to work out how he can shore up a defence that has looked porous so far. This is Nygren for Celtic, put under pressure by Barron. That's better from Rangers. As Engels is forced to retreat, and he plays the ball back to Schmeichel.
But as we're looking at it, our commentary position here is just off halfway line, and we're in a line with Rangers' back line. And for me, it's just too high. I don't think they'll get the pace to play that high. But they'll keep on pushing it. That's the system. That's the way they want to work it. Problem is, it's not working. It's absolutely not working.
Yeah, having that high defence is all good if you are pressing the opponents and you are keeping them back. But Celtic have not been restrained in any way. They keep lobbing these balls over the top. They keep sprinting after them and invariably getting there. Maida is beaten to it by the touchline on this occasion. But Celtic have obviously studied Rangers' patterns in recent games, and they've spotted a weakness here, and they've been able to take advantage so far.
Man, if you're a midfielder and you're given time, which the Celtic midfielders have got, they're outnumbering Rangers in the midfield there, and you know there's a big gap behind that defence that you can drop the ball into. It's almost one of the easiest things to do in the game. It's really not complicated. It's really not hard to do. You don't need to be that skillful, but if you've got someone like McGregor in there that can play that ball time and time again, of course you're going to keep on playing.
Conor Barron goes down, bundled into from behind by Dyson Maida. That was a foul. Free kick to Rangers. Well, they're taking it inside the Celtic half. The challenge happened a few yards inside their own territory. Referee's not been too pedantic about it, allowing play to continue. This is Dujon Sterling down the right-hand side. How Rangers would love an equaliser ahead of the break. Mikey Moore tries to play it in low to the penalty area, but Aaron Trusty is able to clear the ball away from the edge of the Celtic box back into Rangers territory once again. Celtic leading Rangers by a 1-0 here. Magoma back to Emmanuel Fernandez. Under pressure from Nygren, he's got to turn and give it all the way back to Jack Butland once again. Boos and cheers from Celtic fans as Rangers have a bit of possession here. Suter plays a decent ball over the top, but it's just too high for Raskin. Yang is able to get there first, and he comfortably plays it back to Kasper Schmeichel. And Wilfred Nancy must be wondering where this performance, this efficiency has been for his team over the last 7 games.
Well, they've been up for it. I mean, they've all put in the effort. It's whether they can keep it at this level for the entirety of the game, because that's what Nancy wants. That's what he's demanding. I've just watched Yang there, and he's been all attack. He's looked like a winger so far. He's not. He's a wing back. He's had to do the wing back role there a little bit. He did it very well, but it looks a bit goosed after it, doesn't he? And that's the point. You have to work hard in this system.
Celtic have it in the midfield. Misplaced pass though by Luke McCowan. You can hear the groans as Celtic give it away. Then the cheers as they win it back again. McCowan to Tierney on the left hand side. There has been a nice fluidity. Obviously with Rangers of the ball, it's the 3 central defenders and the wing backs back as Pat references. But when Celtic have possession, Tierney, the left-sided central defender, he goes out as if he's a wing back, and he allows McCowan actually come in field and add extra weight to Celtic's attack.
Yeah, and you have to be brave to do that, because you often leave it 1-on-1 at the back, you know, but he believes in Trusty, and if Trusty against Giamatti, that's what Nancy believes it's capable of. He's winning that.
Trusty from Wilfred Nancy. Botland clears the ball left-footed up towards the halfway line, too high for Asgard, bounces on luckily away from Giamatti. There's Kasper Schmeichel with the white gloves, plays the pass to Trusty onto Tierney. Celtic up to the halfway line, then Sterling gets it back for Rangers. Excellent first touch from Giamatti, and that's surely a foul. As he goes down, fouled by McCowan. Free kick to Rangers. Attacking position. It's definitely not a shooting location or anything like it, but this is an opportunity for Rangers to push the tall central defenders forward and to try and get it into the Celtic penalty area.
You talk about the tall central defenders. Have a look at them walking there. Did that look like 3 players? And there's 3 of them walking together that are desperate to get in there, that really feel they've got a chance. You're kind of moping for. Now maybe they may be acting it a bit.
I know what you're saying, but actually we'll come back to this. Let's just see what happens to the free kick, but we'll come back to that. The body language as they walk forward there. As Rangers of the free kick, Conor Barron to take from the right hand side, high, hopeful, Giamatti underneath and wins the header, but Trusty is there and the flag is raised and Rangers had strayed offside. What I always think it's a comedy moment in football, and you always see it. Central defenders coming forward for corners and free kicks, they're trying to be incognito. They're trying to go, no, don't mind me, I'm just 6'5", but oh really? Oh, am I walking forward here? No, surely, don't mind me. How these big giants all try to look unassuming, I always find very hilarious.
It may well have been that, but it certainly looked like they didn't believe in themselves as they were going in there. Yeah. And there is a lack of confidence in that back line just now, but they just need to get to half time.
You want them tooled up, Pat. You want them coming forward, looking for collisions. Angry, yeah. Here's Yang. He's having a storming game, but that's not a good cross, as he got it back onto his right foot, and it spirals up over the crossbar, and it ended up being a bad shot rather than a good cross there. And that is a goal kick to Jack Botland, and Celtic still leading here with a minute to go of normal time in the first half of this Old Firm derby at Celtic Park.
Well, you just look at that battle. I mean, lots of battles around the field. I was expecting Maeda versus Sterling to be the important one. Turns out it's not. It's Magoma versus Yang in this right hand side, and I don't think Yang's won that battle once.
Rangers have been playing well lately, but they need to up their performance here. Nygren strong in the challenge on the edge of the D. Good footwork from him as well. Plays it into the penalty area to Kenny. Ball is still alive here. McCowan arriving on the left-hand side. Oh, too intricate. He had Tierney outside him. He tried to play it. I mean, that was Barcelona-level tiki-taka there. And one pass too many sees Celtic lose possession as we go to Villa Park, and the news of a goal. Villa against Forest, John Akers.
And it's for Aston Villa. And it's Ollie Watkins, as you can hear in the background, right on the stroke of half-time. Took it out from under his feet. He's 25 yards out. It's a lovely little ball in from him from Morgan Rogers, and he smashes it just underneath the crossbar, and Aston Villa lead Nottingham Forest by 1-0.
4 goals in 3 games now for Ollie Watkins. He's needed that in a World Cup year. He'll want 2026 to have more goals than he had in certainly the closing half of 2025. The Aston Villa striker will be back to John for half-time update shortly as we move into stoppages here. I didn't see it, Pat. Did you see what was added on? 2 minutes. 2 minutes being added on for stoppages here ahead of a first half that Celtic have dominated, and if anything, Wilfred Nancy's only complaint here will be that their lead is not more than the solitary goal scored by Yang. The fact it's a narrow margin means Rangers still have hope, but they've not been at the races so far. Mikey Moore tries a flick, but that doesn't work, and then Ralston plays it back to Schmeichel, and that was almost a mirror image of the mistake he made in midweek. Poor clearance by Schmeichel, gives the ball away. Ascot in the penalty area. Mikey Moore angled tight, sliding in was Ralston to make the block, and Celtic have to get it away. Schmeichel should have just got rid rather than try to be too clever there.
He should have done, but maybe he's under orders. That's what he's expected to do, to play it out from the back, and it was dangerous, and they were caught out, and it led to a half chance there. Mikey Moore, having said that, up against Ralston, he's not got much out of Ralston today, and I wasn't surprised that Ralston got the tackle in at the death.
Corner to Rangers. Celtic have quite unnecessarily given this corner kick away. They will be devastated if they were to concede a goal here. We're midway, with 90 seconds of the 2 minutes play. Corner is swung in. Trusty heads it out. Gassama can't get a clean shot away. Too many Celtic players behind the ball. Rangers still have possession, but they've got to retreat here, in a big roar from Celtic as it's played back to Butland, who launches it forward. Celtic had all stepped out very bravely. Is Chermiti offside? No flag yet. Chermiti in around the back of the defence. That'll certainly be looked at if this ends up the net. Moore passes it in. Then the flag goes up belatedly. Rangers thought they'd scored, but it did look a long way back like Chermiti was offside, and despite the finish from Mikey Moore, Rangers' brief, extremely brief celebrations are curtailed.
Do you know what? And I don't think I've ever said this before. I think there were 7 Rangers players offside there. I honestly do, because the Celtic back line had got up so quickly, they'd sprinted, and you look at Nancy down there applauding his defence, saying, that's what I want. The Rangers players weren't up for it. They weren't dynamic enough to get out. So yes, he was offside. So were the rest of his team.
VAR did look at that, of course. Kevin Clancy is the video assistant referee today. He agrees with the on-field decision. Check complete. No goal. So there goes the whistle for the break, and it's a very satisfied Celtic Park. Did we think we'd be saying that in the build-up to this game? The chaotic nature of the last month since Wilfried Nancy's arrival, and yet Celtic have got it all together, put the pieces on the board when they've needed to. It's been a really good performance, a stunning goal from Yang, well worth looking back on. But Celtic in front, and yet the scare at the end, the offside goal from Mikey Moore, will give Rangers a bit of encouragement that maybe, just maybe, Pat Nevin, this ain't over yet.
No, it isn't over yet, because there will be changes. You expect Dan Rowe to do things at half-time to adapt his team, because you can't keep on playing that way if you're Rangers, because you're hanging on by your fingernails and nothing more. Whereas Celtic dominated midfield, creating chances almost at will, winning all the battles, which you have to do in any football game, but particularly in this game, all over the field they're winning all the battles. So at this point in time, as I suspected from about 20 minutes in, Rangers are just trying to get to half-time, only one down. They've managed it. If Celtic play the same way in the second half and Rangers do the same, Celtic will win at a canter. I'm not sure that'll happen.
Celtic fans delighted with what they've seen so far. Rangers fans will definitely be expecting more. They've not enjoyed those opening 45 minutes, but in terms of the spectacle, in terms of what we wanted from an Old Firm derby, this has been blood and thunder, muck and nettle, sliding tackles, stunning goal, a disallowed goal just before the break, and Celtic lead Rangers at half-time by a 0-0.
Thank you very much. When that Rangers goal was disallowed, the cameras cut to a young Celtic fan in the crowd who seemed to think that there were 4 Rangers players in an offside position. Let's go to Villa Park. John Akers.
Ollie Watkins will be a very relieved man at half-time. It's Aston Villa 1, Nottingham Forest 0. He missed a chance within 2 minutes, which you'd put your mortgage on him to score. He was just 8 yards out, only the keeper to beat. To be fair to John Victor, he made a good save with his legs, but really should have scored. They then struggled to break Forest down. Forest had a chance of their own through Amari Hutchinson. Good save by Martinez down to his right-hand side. And then right on the stroke of half-time, there was a minute of added time. And in the last second of it, Watkins picked up the ball from Rodgers, 20 yards out, left-hand side of the penalty area, and fired a shot just under the crossbar, past Victor. Just the pace of it beat him, and Villa go into the break a goal up and second as it stands in the Premier League's table.
They've been dominant now, haven't they, John?
They really have, yeah. I mean, to be fair to Forest, they defended really well, I thought, in that half. Murillo in particular, and alongside him Milenkovic, I thought were excellent. Aina looks like he's just, coming back into it. His first start for Forest. I thought they were really good without the ball and then started to have some chances of their own, but that's a killer for Sean Dyche just before half-time with that strike from Watkins, but real quality from him.
Thank you, John. Second half from Celtic on the way. They lead Rangers by a goal to nil, so they're going level on points with Hearts at the top of the Scottish Premiership. 23 minutes past 1. You're listening to 5 Live on a Saturday afternoon, and Andrew Strachan has your news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has been captured by US forces after large-scale military strikes in Caracas and other cities across the country. President Trump said Mr. Maduro and his wife had been flown out of the country. The US Attorney General Pam Bondi says Mr. Maduro has been indicted in New York on drugs and weapons charges and will face the full wrath of American justice on American soil in American courts. Big explosions have hit military sites in Caracas and other cities. The Venezuelan government has condemned the US attacks. The defense minister is Vladimir Pedrino.
In the face of this cowardly attack, which threatens the peace and stability of the region, we ask the international community and multilateral organizations to condemn the US government for this flagrant violation of international rights. Venezuela is free, independent and sovereign, and strongly rejects the presence of foreign forces that have left death, sadness and destruction.
Well, the attacks follow months of pressure and a huge US military build-up in the southern Caribbean. The US has repeatedly attacked small boats it says were smuggling drugs from Venezuela. Our global affairs reporter Mimi Swarby says this is a huge escalation in the region.
We've seen more than 35 strikes on alleged vessels carrying drugs from both Venezuela and on the other side of the continent in the Pacific Ocean. But to actually go into the country itself, do land strikes there, and now allegedly capture Mr. Maduro and his wife is an unprecedented move.
Our Latin America correspondent Will Grant has more on the wider regional implications.
Well, it is really genuinely nothing less than historic. It is an extraordinary moment in US-Latin American relations, obviously in US-Venezuelan relations, but it has implications that go beyond the borders of Venezuela. First and foremost and most immediately, the Colombian president has said that he is sending troops to the Colombian-Venezuelan border. Let's not forget that there are left-wing armed groups, armed rebels that still operate in Venezuelan soil and move back and forth through that porous border. There are also implications for Cuba, which is thoroughly dependent on Venezuelan crude oil for its revolution to be continually propped up. So it is a very, very unique situation in modern Latin America. And of course, we don't know where, quite simply, the rest of the conflict will go.
Well, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has given his reaction in the past hour or so. He was asked if he would condemn the action, as a number of UK MPs, some from Labour's left and some independents, already have.
I want to speak to President Trump. I want to speak to allies. As I say, I can be absolutely clear that we were not involved in that. And as you know, I always say and believe we should all uphold international law. But I think at this stage, fast-moving situation, let's establish the facts and take it from there.
The president of neighbouring Colombia, Gustavo Petro, expressed profound concern about the attack. Russia and Cuba, both close allies of Caracas, condemned the attack as well. Argentina's President Javier Milei welcomed the US intervention, posting on social media the phrase "liberty advances." Well, people in Caracas say there is now quiet in the city. If you want to keep across this developing story, you can. There is a live page running on the BBC website and a live news stream on BBC Sounds. Just go to the dial at the top of the BBC Sounds page and look for live news. In other news, police in Switzerland have identified a 16-year-old boy and girl as victims of the fire in a bar at a ski resort on New Year's Day. Two others, a 21-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man, have also been identified. All four are Swiss nationals. And the search is continuing for a third person in the water off East Yorkshire after two people died. A major search and rescue operation was launched yesterday afternoon at Withensea.
On BBC iPlayer.
Thought of murdering is to die for.
Twists, turns and treachery are back.
Well, that's a bit of a curveball, isn't it?
Happy New Traitors.
It doesn't really get better than this. It's like a giant murder mystery.
If I need to, stir the pot a little bit, I will do it.
Let the games begin.
The new series of The Traitors continues tonight at 7:45 on BBC One and iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Celtic 1, Rangers 0 at the break. Aston Villa 1, Nottingham Forest 0 at half-time in the Premier League. Villa going second. Arsenal play Bournemouth at 5:30. We'll have full commentary of that. Our base from 3, Molineux for Wolves, West Ham. We'll go there shortly after we've talked about the rugby union. Sarah Orchard at Bath against Exeter for us this afternoon, which we'll talk about in just a moment.
Hello.
2 games last night. Bristol beat whatever. but the big story, Newcastle.
Nice try.
Yeah, I know. No, but Newcastle beating Gloucester to end a 19-match Premiership losing streak. You can talk about the other game as well.
Okay, as it is the new year, I will indulge you, Mark Chapman, and I will talk about the other match first. Yes, I have to say it's one of the best Friday nights of Prem rugby I have witnessed in a long time. Both games finishing with such tight margins, both of them in the balance as the final whistle approached. So Newcastle, that is their first win in the Prem since 2024. It ends their 19-match winning streak, beating Gloucester 25 points to 19. 4 tries, and after all of those tries, none of them actually came from Christian Wade, who is making his Newcastle Red Bulls debut. Problems, of course, there for Gloucester that have been rumbling on now for many a season. But this is all about Newcastle, who at the start of the season we had so many concerns about how badly beaten they could be throughout the season. They are growing, they are getting better, huge credit to them. And then the result you don't want to talk about, Bristol 19, Sale, the mighty Sale, there you go, 17. It was absolutely a grandstand finish. A try there by Cavaletti Rovo, 9 minutes from time, and all but essentially it really puts Sale in a tricky spot now if they're going to try and compete this season for those top 4 spots. But you have to say Bristol look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and they are top of the table on 33 points. Northampton have that same amount as well, but Exeter or Bath will go to the top of the table depending on who wins this at the Rec.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bath losing last week. Everyone was shocked. The fact that they actually lost. It's the first time they'd lost at the Rec since round 3 last season. Everyone was stunned by an incredible second half performance by Northampton. And they will have a point to prove today against Exeter, who are absolutely on the charge. Completely rejuvenated under Rob Baxter once again. He took that front-facing role at the end of last season and said, I'm not stepping back anymore. I'm taking back control of this side. And boy, has he done it. They're currently on a 5-match winning run. They didn't lose throughout the whole of December. They had a draw in there in the Champions Cup, but they look so good. And the fact that their star marquee signing, Len Ikitau, he's that injured at the moment, not expected to be back until March because of shoulder surgery, and they're still doing wondrous things. This is going to be so tight. Bath, the reigning champions, Exeter, the team that everyone's keeping a very close eye on as they are really building a head of steam.
Thank you, Sarah. So you got that at 3:05, and then Northampton Quins is a 5:30 kickoff. Commentary of Bath Exeter is on Sports Extra 2 this afternoon, but Sarah will keep us up to date here on 5 Live during commentary from Molineux. Wolves against West Ham, huge at the bottom of the table. Alistair Bruce Ball.
It is, isn't it, Mark? But I don't think you can really class this one as a relegation 6-pointer because Wolves are so far out of it.
Have you relegated Wolves already?
Well, haven't you?
It's about you, not me.
Well, I mean, they're sitting on 3 points.
The only thing is that under Vitor Pereira last season, they went on a ridiculous run to save themselves. And 10 of the most 14 used players in that run are still at the club.
Oh, very good. Very good indeed. I mean, what I would say is 19 games to go. They've not won one yet. Let's say you've got to get to minimum 32 points, and that's being generous. That's 10 wins. I mean, where are they going to find 10 wins from? But the point I was going to make about the game was I think it heaps more pressure on West Ham because these two haven't played each other in the league this season. So West Ham have got 2 shots at Wolves. This is the first of them. They're sitting there at the moment 4 points behind Nottingham Forest. Forest behind in the lunchtime kickoff. That will remain. 7 points behind Leeds and 9 points behind Bournemouth without a win in 8 games. I just think Wolves can go into this. I know the season's been terrible so far, but off the back of the 1-1 draw at Old Trafford, ending that run of 12 games in all competitions without a win, just with just a modicum of something to build on there and play possibly with a little bit more freedom. And I don't think West Ham really have that.
But you are right. I mean, this could be a nightmare afternoon psychologically for West Ham if Forest do lose, and West Ham were to become the first team to lose to Wolves this season, and the gap stays at 4 and 7, as you say, to Leeds. That is a massive missed opportunity.
It's that, isn't it, Martin? And then it's that disillusionment that builds with, certainly with the ownership of the club. I mean, not turning on Nuno Espirito Santo at the moment, but I know West Ham fans, you look at the chat rooms and speak to the fans and look at the stuff on social media, sort of questioning lineups and decisions in games and taking players off when they're ahead and not being able to hold on to leads. They've signed a new striker already in the January transfer window who is available today, a Brazilian called Pablo Felipe. So whether we're going to see him or not, I'm not sure. But yes, it just does feel like I just think a bigger game for West Ham this afternoon than it is for Wolves, just given the situation of the two clubs, both in the bottom three. But you're not writing Wolves off. I have.
We will be back at Molyneux, 3 o'clock kick-off. Alistair Bruce-Ball will have Michael Brown alongside him, all the goals as they go in elsewhere, which is really, as far as the Premier League is concerned, only Brighton against Burnley, and you can listen to that on Sports Extra. Only 2 3 o'clock games today. But he will keep you up to date, Will Alistair, with what's going on in the Scottish Premiership as well, because as things stand, Hearts will go into their game at Tynecastle, at home to Livingston, level on points with Celtic, and that's because Wilfred Nancy's side lead Rangers at the break by a 1-0. Teams just starting to come back out at Celtic Park, and they're good value really, Pat, for their lead. I mean, neither side looks that sure defensively, and there are plenty of misplaced passes, but Celtic are good value.
Yeah, Celtic are miles of better team by a long distance. I think a fair scoreline would have been 3-0 at half-time, just with the real quality chances that Celtic produced, and also just winning the battles all over the field. And I said beforehand that Celtic, just keep on trying to do what they're doing, keeping it at that pace, and they'll be fine. But Rangers must change it, and they will change it. And as I can see down below me, they're making one substitution. The only surprise is it's only one. We'll see if that makes a difference for them.
But they need a second, don't they?
Yeah, Celtic do need a second, because I think they've got Asgar's going to go off and Diamandi's going to come on. That might give them a little bit more going forward. But the psychology, if you don't go and put it away and then you lose a goal and realise they've had all that work, all that effort, all that good play, all those chances, and you're level, that's a psychological hard hit to take for Celtic if that happens.
All yours, Connor.
Thanks very much, Mark. The teams are back out. We are good to go for the second half. Celtic leading Rangers by 1-0. It came midway through the first half for Yang, and Rangers had to change something. They've made a swap. Mohamed Diamande coming into the midfield in place of Telo Asgard, who had been on a yellow card since early in the match, and maybe that was part of the deliberations by Danny Roll in making that change. So Diamande on for Asgard. Diamande, who scored against Celtic the last time they met here at this stadium. That was back in March when Rangers won. He hasn't scored an away goal since, Diamande. This would be a very good time to rectify that as Tierney clears the ball away up towards John Kenny, who had a lot of freedom in the first half. Can Rangers get closer to him in this second period? Schmeichel comes out of his penalty area, no messing about, plays it high up over the halfway line. Suter forward for Rangers. Chamiti tries to bring it with him. Trusty is too strong. Barron comes across. Rangers will want to start this second half much better than they did the first. Raskin tries to play a through ball, but it's well cut out by Luke McCowan, and he sets Celtic on their way. And here comes Kenny again, and thundering across Emmanuel Fernandez. Slide tackles to put it out for a corner. Corner to Celtic at the start of the second half. Pat Nevin.
No, the first half Rangers, I thought, had a good first 10 minutes, but after that they were hammered for the rest of the half. And they've tried to start off in the front foot there again, but all it took was one lob from deep for Kenny to get onto it there and almost get through 1-on-1 and go. And that shows you the dilemma the Rangers have. They can push on, they're going to leave gaps.
Nygren's going to take the corner. This is left-hand side. Is it Engels to take it? Left-hand side of Celtic come forward. Rangers have everyone back inside the penalty area to defend. The sun beaming down on Celtic Park. Good delivery is played in, but Emmanuel Fernandez heads it away. McGregor into the area, shoots back in. He's claiming it took a deflection. The referee says no. It's off target from Callum McGregor, and that is going to be a goal kick to Rangers away to our left-hand side. Back to Villa Park, back to the Premier League. John Akers.
Villa might well have wrapped this up right at the start of the second half. Villa 2, Forest 0. It's a brilliant team goal. Matty Cash on the right-hand side, low ball in, first time finish from the captain, John McGinn, past the keeper, and Villa 2, Forest 0.
Important response from Aston Villa after their heavy defeat at Arsenal in the week. Here in Glasgow, Celtic leading Rangers by a goal to 0. And in possession, Diamande has just come on for the visitors, and he brings it on a mazy dribble down the left-hand side. There has been a foul, and there's going to be a free kick to Celtic, and a bit of a tussle breaks out in the aftermath in terms of trying to get the ball back and placing it down. But it's going to be a free kick to Celtic midway inside their own half, Pat.
Does that tell you that Danny Rose told his team to fight a little bit? A bit of anger there, a bit of pushing and shoving. They were just too timid for large parts of that first half. There was an uncertainty about it. Just try to see if Rangers have changed anything, like, technically. It looks a wee bit more like a 4-3-3, whereas beforehand, like Asgard was playing, it was a 4-2-3-1. But it all depends where Diamande plays just now and what effect he has on the game for Rangers.
Rangers need a goal. They defend for the moment. Emmanuel Fernandez at the back turns under pressure, clears it away, slices it away. John Kenny bearing down upon him, and he's put it out for a Celtic throw-in, which has been taken quickly. Yang finds himself challenged over the far side by Mikey Moore. Rangers get it back, but they're in their left full-back position. It's played long towards Chimiti, tries to flick the ball infield. Kieran Tierney gets a nod for Celtic. Diamande now tries to take it down on the edge of his own penalty area. Raskin clears up to Moore. There's no time on the ball for anyone here at the moment, but Moore has done well, helped out by Conor Barrett. They try to give it out to Gassama on the right-hand side. Gassama's touch is decent. Moore wants to help it on to Chimiti and just couldn't play the final pass. Rangers are trying to rally here, but Celtic for the moment remain on top.
Well, they're in a very good position there, Rangers, and the through ball was on, and he didn't think anyone was going to make a tackle, but in the right full-back position, there's Maeda had gone all the way back from left wing to cut out that danger there, and it just shows you the work rate that certainly Celtic have. They never complain about Maeda's work rate, he always puts it in, but today he's actually had limited effect in the game so far.
Well, for Nancy, who lost his first 4 games in charge, there was a brief respite. Celtic had back-to-back wins against Aberdeen and Livingston, but then Motherwell on Tuesday was a really bad setback. Not just the result, the manner of the performance, and that's why today is extra important. As Sterling comes in the attack for Rangers, can't pick the pass. He had 2 in field of him. He played it low towards the edge of the area. There was no one there for Rangers, and Celtic cleared it away. But a throw-in to the visitors, taken by Barron, played in field by Gassama. This is Raskin to the byline, puts it back. It's into the net. It's the equaliser. It's 1-1. Raskin did so well to bring it to the byline, and then it was cut back, and the final touch into the net by Chimiti. It's the equaliser that Rangers craved, and this is why Celtic wish they scored more when they were perfectly on top in the first half. Celtic won, Rangers won. It's game on again.
It's certainly game on, and Rangers have just done to Celtic what Celtic did to them for the entirety of the first half. Just get beyond that line, get to the byline, get across in. There had been a warning shot 45 seconds before that when Rangers didn't cross the ball well enough, and this time they did get to the byline, the cross was put in, Chimiti was there to put it in, and what a lift psychologically that is to every single Rangers player and those Rangers fans that you can hear just now, that they have been hammered, but they're right level, and they've started the second half very, very well.
And it is staggering how that goal has changed the mood in here. Celtic fans who were delighted with how this day was going have suddenly been rocked back in their seats. The Rangers fans are all housed in the corner away to our right hand side. There is huge netting like you'd see at a golf driving range, all the way from the top of the stand down to the ground. They threw themselves at the netting, Rangers fans, celebrating that goal. They know their team has been second best today, but none of that counts now, because the scoreboard says 1-1, and Wilfred Nancy will be thinking, oh no, not again.
The games can happen like that. Half time shouldn't have that massive effect, but it almost always does. So few games carry on in the second half exactly the way they've gone in the first half. Players got time to rest, a little bit of change, a tactical change, a personnel change. It doesn't always work, but I'll tell you what a start for Rangers in that second half. And they're so lively, they're sharp to the ball, the way they weren't for 35 minutes at the end of that first half.
What a week it's been for Youssef Chermiti. Best performance in a Rangers shirt in midweek, and now he scores at Celtic Park in the Old Firm derby, and scores a goal that gives Rangers more than hope now. They will look to their recent form. They will know the troubles that Celtic have had. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes the next few minutes. Negron down the right-hand side for Celtic. What's their response going to be? Plays it to the edge of the box. McCowan, edge of the D. Great low ball in. Here's the opportunity for Maynard. Saved by Butland. Jack Butland has made a succession of huge stops to keep Rangers in this today.
But again, he's 1-1. He's 8 yards out. You've got to dink it. You've got to lift it. I mean, it's the most obvious thing in the world that you do that when you're 1-1 with a goalkeeper. Maybe it was on Dazzy Mader's left foot, he would have preferred it on his right. That is another golden opportunity for Celtic.
Celtic 1, Rangers 1. 5 Live at BBC Sounds. Corner to Celtic on the left-hand side. Arne Engels to take. Here it comes, right-footed. Attempt to flick onto the front post. Rangers need to get it away. Loads of volleys. It's a real scramble and a tangle. And an eventual shot comes in. But too many bodies in the way. Celtic hold on to possession. McCowan, just outside the penalty area. Plays it in. Tierney tries a side-footed flick on. But that's comfortably saved by Butland, diving down to his left-hand side. 1-1. And you cannot take your eyes off this for the moment.
Yeah, it's turned into a classic Old Firm game. I mean, the first half when it was 1-0, I did say to you, this does not look like it's going to finish 1-0. It actually doesn't look as if it's going to finish 1-1, does it? Because there's so many opportunities, both sides now. There's mayhem in the box now, and another half chance for Rangers.
Diamante's come on and made a difference. Here's a chance for Moore into the penalty area. Down the left-hand side, Mikey Moore on loan from Spurs. Pulls it back, Conor Barron, can he get the shot? He swivels the full 360 degrees. He tries to shoot left-footed, and it's blocked by Tierney, and out for a Rangers corner. And there's no doubt, it's not just the goal. Rangers, in terms of performance, have dramatically improved since half-time.
Unrecognisable, totally unrecognisable. They could maybe argue they're aiming towards the small number of fans they've got. That might help them a little bit as well. But certainly just that little tactical change, the words that the manager's had at half-time, totally and utterly changed them. But he seems to have instilled confidence from nowhere.
Rangers, who've only lost 2 league games this season, both to leaders' hearts. Corner comes in from Barron, well dealt with from a Celtic point of view, headed away, and Yang here has a chance to play it forward. Now, it's 3-on-2. Celtic have been able to break really quickly, but the early cross in towards the edge of the penalty area is dealt with by Dujon Sterling. Celtic are appealing that there was a foul before the cross came in, and the referee agrees with that, so it's a yellow card. Is it from Magoma who's out there? It's a yellow, no, it's a Gassama who was sprinting back. So a yellow card for Gassama for that foul just as the cross came in. Free kick to Celtic outside the penalty area on the right hand side.
Would they rather have the free kick at the corner? I think they'd probably rather have the free kick there. It's not a shooting angle, but it's a dangerous one, a difficult angle just outside the corner of the 18-yard box. They'll be able to hook it in there. But it really has been end to end. It's that second half. It's been brilliant to watch.
Coming up later on this afternoon at 5 Live, we'll bring you Wolves against West Ham with Alistair Bruce Ball and Michael Brown. More commentaries tomorrow as well. Fulham against Liverpool at 3 o'clock with Ian Dennis and Mark Schwarzer. You can hear Manchester City against Chelsea at 5:30 with John Murray and Izzy Christensen. Here on 5 Live, we're concentrating on the Scottish Premiership, where Celtic had the lead in the first half, but they've been pegged back to 1-1 here against Rangers in the Old Firm. Free kick is going to be taken by Engels. Right hand side, plays it in, lots of spin, and that header towards the top corner is touched over the top. It was Yang again, the goal scorer in the first half, towards the top corner, and Butland makes the save.
It's not what the Celtic fan said to me at half time. who's that new player we've got playing out there? Because they don't recognise Yang the way he's playing. It's extraordinary. I've never seen him header a ball like that before. Very unlucky. Good save, Butler.
1-1 at Celtic Park. Corner to Celtic. Right hand side as they come forward. Rangers with everyone back to defend. Comes in too low this time. McGowan tries to clear it away. He's done well if he's prevented that going for a corner. He has. But Celtic regained possession immediately. And Engels tries a little nutmeg, and that doesn't quite come off against Chermiti. Chermiti's goal has levelled things up here. Yang makes a little bit of an error, but it's okay. McGowan still has possession for Celtic. Gives it back in field again to Callum McGregor. Celtic trying to reassert a bit of authority here as Engels plays in a good ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Yang hits a thundering effort and it's blocked away, and it came off one of his teammates, and it goes out for a goal kick. Celtic 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, Celtic wrested a little bit of control back after that very good start to the second half by Rangers, and it's kind of what you want a derby game to be like now, isn't it? You know, both teams look a little bit more even now. Celtic was so far ahead in the first half, but it looks a little bit more even now, and it's end to end, and you actually at this point in time couldn't guess who's likely to score next.
3 o'clock commentary at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers against West Ham United, and Alistair Bruceball has the teams.
One change for Wolves from the 1-1 draw at Old Trafford in midweek. Santiago Bueno is fit, comes into the back three. Matt Doherty drops out. 18-year-old Mateus Mane starts again. And for West Ham, Todibo and Paquetá not fit. Mavropanos and Somerville come in. The new signing, the Brazilian striker Pablo Felipe, is on the bench.
Thanks, Alistair. You can listen to Ali and Michael Brown at 3 o'clock here on 5 Live. Wolves against West Ham. There are only 2 Premier League games at 3 o'clock today. Brighton against Burnley is available to listen on Sports Extra. And the 5:30 game is at the Vitality. It is Bournemouth against Arsenal, and that will be live here on 5 Live with Vicky Sparks and Rob Green here at Celtic Park. Celtic on the attack. Yang, their goal scorer in the first half, gives it to Engels. Yang, left-footed ball, low, too close to Butland, who saves diving down to his right-hand side. Now, we mentioned that Sports Extra commentary coming up at 3 o'clock. Brighton and Hove Albion against Burnley. John Southall is at the Amex and has the teams. John.
Brighton make 4 changes from the draw at West Ham. In come Ruta, Kostelas, Matoma and Gruder. For Milner, Minter, De Kuyper and Welbeck. Burnley have injury issues. 3 changes from the Newcastle defeat. Estev is injured, Chowner and Edwards also drop out. In come Humphreys, Brunlarsson and Anthony.
Here come Rangers on the attack, down the left-hand side. And out comes Michael to try and narrow the angle, and he makes... No, it's propelled in! It goes in off the post! And Rangers, Chermiti again! From 1-0 down, they lead 2-1. This is an incredible turnaround in the second half. And it's a mirror image of the first half. First half, Rangers defence allowed Celtic in behind them so regularly. Now it's happening at the other end. Schmeichel came out, I think he got a touch to it, but in off the post by Chermiti. And it's Celtic 1, Rangers 2. What about that?
Absolutely incredible. I'm not going to say you couldn't see it coming, because we did say before half-time Celtic needed that second goal. But to score 2 goals so quickly and have other half chances as well is incredible for Rangers. And the Celtic defensive line, which has been the big complaint since Nancy come in, was all over the place. They never made a tackle at any point over a 40-yard run by Chermiti, who then just slid it past Schmeichel, who got a tiny touch. Not enough. 2-1. Boy, we're back game 1.
Wow, what a change in mood and a stunned Celtic Park. Rangers, who were 1-0 down at half-time, are now 2-1 in front, and we've not reached the hour mark yet. We've got to go back to Phillip Park. John Akers.
Forest have got one back, Connor. Aston Villa 2, Forest 1. Straight ball through. Great pace from Morgan Gibbs-White. Ended up one-on-one with the keeper. It's a lovely dink finish into the far corner. And it's not over here. 62 minutes gone. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
Certainly not over here. Celtic, now it will sting that those early chances, all those saves by Jack Butland in the first. I remember the Kenny shot towards the bottom corner, Butland miraculously saving it away. They needed to score more when they're on top, and now Celtic are suffering for it. And instead of talking of Celtic joining Hearts at the top of the table, we're now wondering, are Rangers moving level with Celtic in second place? Because if it was to end with a Rangers win, that's what would happen today.
Which is what all Rangers fans have been talking about and thinking about and hoping for. I mean, not believing, hoping for, because we come from such a dark place at the start of the season. To find themselves second now, just into the new year, Oh wow, that'd be almost beyond their wildest dreams.
Celtic's done, but here's Maida! Drills it low and just wide. That was a whisker off target. He gave it to the outside of the left boot. It had loads of spin on it. We were right behind the angle that shot went, and it was only inches wide.
Do you know, I don't do a lot of XG. We're getting the XG is just now 5-all, 6-all possibly. You know, it's ridiculous amount of open chances. Maeda already in this second half has been 1-1 with the goalkeeper twice and has not managed to score a goal when normally in his best season, his best forms, they're tucked away almost with his eyes shut.
Jason Maeda playing in his 23rd Old Firm derby. He scored 3 goals against Rangers last season alone. He's had 2 big chances today, but Rangers in front because of 2 goals from Yusuf Chermiti. Only 2 league goals all season before today. He's doubled his tally in this second half alone, and he's taken them really, really well. Raskin probably gets most of the praise for the first goal. Chermiti finishing so well on both occasions, though. Celtic allowed Rangers in behind them, and Wilfried Nancy will be doing his nut down there about that. The Frenchman is under inordinate pressure. 5 defeats in his first 7 games. He'll have been so pleased to be in front here at half-time, but it almost makes because they were so good in the first half, it probably feels worse for Celtic fans now, Pat, that they find themselves behind.
That's what I was talking about, the psychology of 1-0 up. The psychology's horrible. Getting to half-time 1-0 up, Celtic will be happy-ish, but also knowing, well, it can't be that easy in the second half. We should have made hay while the sun shone there. And to lose a goal and go to 1-1, that is, the Rangers are so happy about it, so pleased, so positive, so confident, whereas Celtic are thinking they're crushed, and that psychology is playing out right in front of us here.
Sun is shining in Glasgow. It's Rangers making hay. The 2 goals from Yusuf Chermiti. The change to bring on Diomande at half-time has just given a little bit more solidity to the middle of the park, where Rangers were lightweight in the first half. Conor Barron, who's quite slight of frame, Mikey Moore, who was trying but he's only a teenager, and Diomande has just given a little bit of more of a grown-up presence in there as a free kick to Rangers, and big Emmanuel Fernandez, the central defender, makes his way forward. Celtic are going to hold a really high line here. They're 10-12 yards outside their penalty area, trying to keep Rangers as far away from Kasper Schmeichel as they can. 63 minutes of the stadium clock. Free kick is taken towards the edge of the box. It'll be Johnny Kenny to bring it away. He's done well. Skips around Sterling, gets almost to the halfway line, tracked all the way though by Fernandez. They're both appealing that the last touch came off the other. The officials give the decision to Rangers, and that's the way it feels here at the moment. Every little 50-50 challenge which was going Celtic's way in the first half now appears to be going Rangers' way in the second. Rangers leading away at Celtic by 2-1.
And also we mentioned that body language at the end of the first half. It looked terrible with Rangers. Totally changed. Look at Celtic midfield now. The hunched shoulders, they're not all wanting on the ball. They're not breaking from midfield anywhere near the same way they were in the first half. A complete and utter 180-degree turn in the way this game is running.
Celtic have already lost more games this season than the whole of last season. More defeats to this stage of this campaign than any season since the 90s. And we mentioned the first half, as good as they were playing, that the confidence could be brittle, that the veneer could be exposed if they were to concede, and that's exactly what has happened. And Celtic have retreated into their shell since the game went to 1-1, and that's why they're now 2-1 down. And Chermiti's on a hat-trick now. Tries a little nutmeg on Kieran Tierney. He can't get away from him, and in the end a little bit too forceful into the former Arsenal player, and that decision is given to Celtic, a free kick for them. Kasper Schmeichel comes out of his penalty area to take it. Celtic 1, Rangers 2 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and it's offered us so much this game already, and yet you feel there's a twist or two more to come.
There's lots more to come. There is absolutely lots more to come. And all the questions are now,
Barron pushes it forward. Chermiti in pursuit, flicks it away from Trusty. Ralston tries to get a touch. Barron comes again. Rangers really rolling up their sleeves and getting stuck in now. Celtic look to clear away. Yang sends it down the right channel, but Emmanuel Fernandez gets there first ahead of Kenny, and he keeps his wherewithal to force it infield to Nico Raskin. And Rangers playing with much more authority now. Sterling on the right hand side, under pressure from Nygren, is able to turn and roll it back to Jack Botland, and then he launches left-footed high up towards the halfway line. Mikey Moore jumps in the air, but he's beaten by Anthony Ralston. The second ball increasingly, though, being won by Rangers now. Diomande to Chermiti. That's an excellent pass to the right wing to Gassama. Steps into the penalty area. Can he get the angle for the shot? Gassama's left-footed delivery, blocked by McGregor and Tierney between them. But Gassama continues the pursuit, and he doesn't allow McGregor an easy escape there. And Rangers' attitude is so impressive now. After a dormant first half, they have absolutely sprung to life. Celtic 1, Rangers 2 on 5 Live.
And if you're a Rangers supporter, you should be delighted at the fact that they've gone 2-1 up, and then they haven't just sat back. They've not just said, okay, then we'll hold on to this, we'll try and play in the break. They've got really involved in the game. They're playing very, very good energy about them. Here's the big point. This is the part of the game where changes will have to be made. You'll make some substitutions. This is going to make a difference to this game.
Luke McCowan gives away possession. Sterling pushes it one side of Tierney, tries to sprint around the other. Tierney just about stands his ground and puts it out for a throw into Rangers down in that corner where the away fans are going absolutely ballistic. I don't think any of them are sitting down. They're standing on their seats. They are absolutely thrilled with the comeback that they've seen here. And Celtic in disarray are about to make a change, and Julio Araujo is going to come on for his Celtic debut. Talk about being thrown into the deep end. A baptism of fire for the Mexican, who's just signed on loan from Bournemouth. He comes on, and on he comes in place of Luke McCowan, who's not had a good second half.
It's one of those substitutions you take. Well, he's not played with the team much. He's not trained with them. Do you know what your role is? Well, do you understand the strengths and weaknesses of your players around you? We're going to find out, and he's going to find out very quickly.
Chermiti is having the time of his life, by the way. 2 goals. He's just done a little Ronaldinho flake where he hits it twice with the same boot to elude an opponent, and Rangers win a corner, and suddenly, I mean, he's tall anyway, Chermiti, but he is standing 7-8 foot tall at the moment. Such is the confidence that those 2 goals have given him. There's a swagger about Chermiti.
I was going to say strut. I was going to use the word that we use up here. It's called gallus, which means ultra confident and really pleased with himself.
He'll be even more pleased if he can get another and an Old Firm hat-trick, which is on the cards now, incredibly, for Yusuf Chermiti, the Portuguese striker, the former Everton man. Corner to Rangers, to be taken by Jayden Magoma. Right hand side as they come forward. In swinger too close to Schmeichel, who's bundled into and fouled, and referee gives the free kick to Rangers. That was not necessary. There was no need for that collision, and yet it's in keeping with the atmosphere of the moment where everything has been challenged for, nothing has been let go. Schmeichel winces a little bit as he gets back up to his feet.
Yeah, you have no time to roll around there, Casper. You need to get up. Celtic fans have gotten no sympathy whatsoever with the goalkeeper there. There's a game to be won here. They need the ball on the pitch. They need the ball to be played up. They need to put a little bit more pressure on Rangers. They have put some pressure on Rangers in the second half. They have had opportunities, and I suspect they'll have some more, but they can't afford to lose another goal.
The real interesting element to this is, of course, Rangers fans delighted that Celtic are behind, but the interesting element is how disgusted Celtic fans are that this dominant performance has disappeared, that the lead is gone, that they now trail. And given the recent run of results, the patience was always going to be thin and short from Celtic fans. And look, I mean, what should be a raucous atmosphere cheering on the team, they're all sitting on their hands.
Absolutely silent. To be honest, I noticed a bit of that at the start of the game. After they sang walk on, they sat there saying, right, okay, it's your turn to get us excited. Well, the Celtic players did get them excited in that first half, but they're back where they started now. The uncertainty, the lack of belief in what the team is capable of doing. And then just add on top of that, it's the great rivals that are doing it to them just now. But it's odd. You look at Rangers just now. I mean, everyone, a player like Gassama, in the first half, he couldn't control the ball. He just looked like a little kid out there. Look at him now, he's doing step overs and dummies and utterly full of confidence. It's football's a strange game in that way, it really is.
Yeah, momentum is such an important element of any football game, and Rangers have got the momentum now. Who's got the momentum at Villa Park? A goal in the Premier League, John Akers.
It's Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1. It's a bizarre goal. Keeper's way out of his goal. It falls to John McGinn, and he gets his second of the game. Keeper comes out, McGinn, great first touch, takes it round him, 35, 40 yards out. He helps it into the empty net. John McGinn, Villa 3, Forest 1.
So Aston Villa, who demand to continue to be included in the title race talk despite that heavy defeat at the Emirates in midweek, looking like they're heading towards the 3 points there. Here it's tight in Glasgow. Celtic 1, Rangers 2. Celtic who led at half-time. Here's an opportunity. Mikey Moore into the bottom corner, beats Kasper Schmeichel, and suddenly Rangers have a 2-goal lead. He's in amongst the supporters, battling against the net that separate them. That's a stunning finish from Mikey Moore, low and hard, straight and true, beyond Kasper Schmeichel. Celtic are in deep, deep trouble now. Celtic 1, Rangers 3.
Well, first of all, the strike. I mean, the through ball's a very, very good through ball, but he just takes one touch and he's leathered it low across the goalkeeper. Absolute textbook we should do as a striker. Watching Mikey Moore in the first half, he didn't look any older than about 16, 17. He couldn't get involved with it at all, and he has completely grown into it as well. Again, the confidence is absolutely incredible. Well played Rangers this second half. They have been utterly on fire, but the one thing on top of everything else, the finishing. They finish. Rangers are finishing with ease and with aplomb, whereas Celtic's finishing, let's be honest about it, has been atrocious. Now you look at this crowd just now, they didn't look at the players, they looked at the manager, then they turned and looked up here where all the directors are.
Well, the story is Rangers, they are 3-1 in front. But in the background, I mean, just to sum up the atmosphere, police officers have had to come and stand by the Celtic dugout close to Wilfred Nancy. That is the level of vitriol that he's receiving. Some Celtic fans visibly arguing amongst themselves behind that dugout.
I think they're actually all pointing towards the director's box. Look at them, where we're looking at. They're just looking at the director's box saying, and they'll be sacked the board. That's what they'll be saying just now.
No, you're right.
There was a bad feeling beforehand. When that goal went in, they all turned around to the board.
In the background to this, around the stadium, the high hundreds of Celtic fans are heading towards the exits. I mean, this is such a coveted ticket to be at one of these Old Firm games, and yet, with 20 minutes to go, many Celtic fans have felt that's enough. The way this team has been playing, 5 defeats in 7 games under Wilfred Nancy, 3-1 down now, having led in half-time by a 1-0. Many Celtic fans have decided that that's enough, and we can see visibly green seats visible around the stadium that have been vacated. Nancy needs to do something. He's making a double change here. So Shin Yamada's going to come on, Japanese forward. Nigren makes way, and also coming on Ryo Hatate. So 2 Japanese players on. Hatate and Yamada are on for Chelsea, and it is Kenny and Nigren who make way, and Wilfred Nancy, Pat Nevin, needs these replacements to make a difference, and fast.
Do you know, I kind of thought he had to make a replacement just after that second goal, and maybe even after the first goal, because they were running second best by a good long distance at that point in time. And in these sort of games, you need to make decisions quickly. And for someone like Wilfred Nancy, this is new territory. This is a stress, a pressure, and a changeable atmosphere that he'll never have seen anywhere else, and probably just a little bit too slow to react to.
He is going to be under enormous duress, Wilfred Nancy. I mean, for Danny Rowe, what a story this has been for Rangers. When he arrived October 20th, they were 13 points off the top. Rangers are about to move level with Celtic in second. They're about to be just 3 points behind leaders' Hearts. 3-1 Rangers lead, and it's all been because of a second half comeback. 2 goals from Chermiti, 1 from Mikey Moore. What was a 1-goal deficit has become a 3-1 advantage, and Rangers deserve it, but quite how Celtic have put themselves in this position, Pat Nevin, I've no idea.
Do you know what? How much football can change in 30 minutes or so? It's extraordinary. Things were looking, you almost felt the Celtic fans at half-time were saying, oh, we've turned a corner now, it looks good, this is enjoyable, we're creating chances, we look confident, we look brilliant. It's just completely evaporated.
Araujo plays the ball forward looking for Yamada, 2 of the substitutes combining, but Celtic can't hold on to it in attack. Araujo thunders in looking to make an impression on his Celtic debut, but wow, I mean, if you're Araujo, thought about, being thrown into the flames. He's not played much football this season. He's been on the periphery at Bournemouth. He's come here on loan. He comes on. His team, which has been leading at half-time, he comes on in the second half. Now they're 3-1 down, and Araujo's thinking, what have I let myself in for here?
Well, first of all, he's had 2 inputs in the game so far, and both of them have been really tough challenges. So he's did exactly what his managers want him to do there. and what the fans would want them to do, take part in it and be involved in it. Don't be a shrinking valley. You cannot afford to be that at this point in time in this stadium when 3 goals to 1 down. But then again, the psychology of it we were talking about before, if Celtic can somehow get another few chances and score a goal, then we will find out if Rangers have got that strong. To be honest, it doesn't look like it now. It didn't look like it in the first half that Rangers were going to get back.
Celtic 1, Rangers 3 on 5 live, quarter of an hour to go. Your point, Pat, about the dissatisfaction with the board is very much to the front now. There are so many fans, our position here, we can see thousands of Celtic fans, so many of them not even watching the game now, just looking at and making statements towards the director's box away to our left-hand side. Throw in to Celtic, far side of the pitch, the right-hand side as they try to come forward. Ralston throws it but gives it away. And Celtic, who held possession with such ease in the first half, are now really struggling to put 2-3 passes together.
Yeah, you've got to say that's a lot to do with Rangers getting close, much, much closer. We talked about constantly in the first half, Celtic were getting playing in midfield, taking their time, pinging the ball over the top, making a chance. Right now, no time at all. The tackles are flying in from those Rangers players in that midfield, and again, you've got to say the change has worked for them, but also each one of those midfielders has been more combative in the second half.
The chaotic nature of Wilfred Nancy's reign takes an even sterner turn here. I mean, he's only been in the job a month. Celtic have possession, but they can't hold on to it. Mikey Moore putting it out for a Celtic throw. Kieran Tierney preparing to take it. Rangers, with an unheralded squad, have found a gel. They've become a team. You can visibly see their confidence. And at the moment they're up against a side that look absolutely shattered. Here is Araujo on his Celtic debut on the right hand side, pushes it down the line, good ball actually, an attempt to pull it back. Botland makes a good save. There were 2 Celtic players inside the 6-yard box. Engels tried to pull it back for them, and Botland was able to dive in front and make the catch. Good goalkeeping.
That's brilliant goalkeeping, absolutely brilliant, because he needs to read that, because remember, he's been beaten at the near post already in this game, but he needs to guess that it's not going to be fired to that near post again, gets out and stop what was an absolute definite tap in for Celtic had that ball gone through. So that's a slightly better reaction from Celtic and go 3-1 down.
I mean, just to put the context on what this would mean for Rangers, since 2010, the last 15 years, they have had 3 wins in 21 visits here to this stadium in all competitions. 3 wins in 15 years. This season, which started so poorly for Rangers, and they would only have dreamed in the early months of the campaign that they would come here in January for the first league game in the Scottish Premiership of 2026, and they would be leading 3-1 and about to go within 3 points of the top of the table as Araujo makes a clearance inside a congested Celtic penalty area. Araujo trying to do it all on his own at the moment, but this is Raskin holding onto the ball right up against the touchline, eventually fouled by Araujo, who's been, well, in terms of energy and endeavour, he's been showing what Celtic need a lot more of.
Yeah, if he doesn't get a yellow card between now and the end of the game, I'll be absolutely, utterly shocked, because he is racing into every tackle, every challenge, and it's 100 miles an hour. It's not completely controlled, but I mean, he's showing a little bit of need, desperation. That's the sort of thing you need from those Celtic players. Unfortunately for him, there's not that many others around them showing that same desperation.
The noise you're hearing in the background at Celtic Park is coming from the small pocket of Rangers fans. Shamini gets up here looking for a hat-trick, but Schmeichel is able to jump and get a glove to it first. Celtic clear away. Yang just hammering it up the field. Anywhere will do for Celtic. These Rangers fans who've been in here for 4 hours now, they needed to be in position by 10:15 for security reasons. It's approaching 2:15. This is Raskin, low ball in just in front of Kazama. He stretched with every sinew, but he couldn't control it. Celtic breathed a sigh of relief. That could have been 4-1 down.
But that was the classic back 3 problem. You know, the 3 centre-backs get a little bit too tight. There's a gap outside them, and the ball can be just slipped in with ease. And that's what Celtic... They've got a real problem there, and the number of goals now, including the 3 today that they've lost under the new manager, is basically unacceptable for Celtic Football Club.
5 live from the BBC commentary from Molineux coming up at 3 o'clock in the Premier League. Celtic, who were in front thanks to Yang's goal midway through the first half here, hoping that they were going level with Hearts at the top of the Premiership table tonight, but Rangers have risen like Lazarus to be 3-1 up now.
Just as you say that, that was the moment. The amount of Celtic fans that are streaming out of the ground now, it's actually stunning. There's loads of them now. They've just thought, that's enough. And there's 10 minutes plus maybe 3, 4, 5 more after that. There's 15 minutes. That's plenty of time to score goals. But there are many that have had enough already.
It's an announcement here telling Rangers fans that for their own safety they should stay in their seats. Do you think, Pat, that any Rangers fan could be dragged out of here by a horse? I mean, they are not going to leave. They are going to savour every second of this.
They are going to go to every single Celtic fan in here until there's none in here. And at this rate, if it keeps on going this way, there won't be many at full time.
Suter on the edge of his own penalty area for Rangers. Nothing fancy. Realised that was the time to just get rid, and he heads it out for a throw into Celtic on the right hand side. Celtic trailing 3-1 on what has been a disaster of a day so far for Wilfried Nancy, who had that strange press conference yesterday. One of his answers for 7 minutes all about just defending himself and his methods, and it's going to be impossible to defend anything on a scoreline like this, particularly when Celtic actually did play well for the opening 45 minutes of the game. Chermiti gives it away, too fancy. He's had a great second half use of Chermiti, but that was unnecessarily flaunting it there. He's got the possession again. He's trying to keep it in play down by the touchline. Tierney comes across, clatters into him. The ball goes out of play, and that'll be a throw-in to Rangers. Right full-back position for them. The clock is ticking on, and there are 8 minutes of normal time to play.
You're talking about Chermiti there. I mean, he'll get lots of the headlines. But sadly, it's a wee bit of a shame because a lot of the headlines will be the negative ones about Celtic and their position at the moment. But Chermiti, he's grabbing a lot of them just now. But on top of that, he is having more fun than anyone out there right now.
We mentioned those stats of the first half in terms of scoring first in a league Old Firm derby. It has been a long time since either of these teams has come back against the other in the manner that Rangers have done here. Celtic have not been able to assert authority, and there are too many of the old stale problems that have hampered them, frankly, all season. And a promising future for Wilfried Nancy looks such a distant and difficult prospect at the moment.
You know, it's one of those ones where had Celtic scored the goals they should have scored in the first half, this would have been a canter. It really would have been a canter. But they just couldn't get that second one. They left that little bit of hope. And it's those little differences that make all the difference in the end. And certainly the confidence that Celtic had in the first half, it's really hard to see it just now.
Celtic trying to come forward, but no way through as Rangers clear it away again. Back to Ralston, who's about 20 yards into Rangers territory. Celtic playing right to left in this second half, in which so much of the action has been away to our right hand side at the end that Rangers are attacking. Here is Araujo trying his best down the right hand side, but he runs out of playing surface. He wants a corner and the officials agree, so it's a corner to Celtic, but they need 2 goals here at a bare minimum to salvage anything. Celtic, who any game this season that they went in front in at home, they've always got on to win in the league, but here they are after the early lead, now trailing by 3 goals to 1. It is a decade since Celtic scored first in a home league game and ended up losing it. Here comes the corner, played in from the right hand side. That's against any opponent, by the way, not just Old Firm. It's got to go back to Motherwell, 2015. This is Callum McGregor trying to keep the head up for Celtic. Ball is lofted in by Hatate towards the back post. Header goal bound is saved by Butland again. Wouldn't have counted. Flag is raised and Celtic had strayed offside.
Yeah, it certainly was offside. But that kind of zip that Celtic had in the first half, and you might ask the question, that pace that they played at, are they basically capable of playing at that pace for 90 minutes? And when they ran out of gas a little bit, it became very obvious. I mentioned the fact that one of the big strengths of Celtic in that first half was the midfielders flying past the forwards, getting into great positions beyond the Rangers' defence. Well, Rangers have maybe stood a little bit 10 yards back, so there's less space to get into in this second half. But those runs just haven't been made. They really haven't been made. And whether they actually have got the energy to play in the Nancy style. So, yeah, maybe that's another question that has to be asked. But that's one of quite a lot of questions these Celtic fans will be asking.
Celtic fans departing the stadium in their droves now. Rangers are going to bring on the experience of James Tavernier in his 11th season as a Rangers player. This will be his 44th Old Firm derby. So he overtakes Alan McGregor in terms of the most appearances in this fixture for Rangers this century. Tavernier, who's got 7 goals against Celtic in the past, and he will take his time and he will savour the moment as Dujon Sterling walks ever so slowly across the pitch. He's been urged now by the referee to get off quicker, but Rangers will absolutely bask in the glory.
I'm not sure
of
it's
what's
Dujon
unfolding
Sterling
here.
is going to come off. I think they're going to move more defensive with that. Gassama will come off, and it just sets it up. You know, you bring off a winger, you know, bring on another defender who's going to, you know, and Rangers do sometimes play with a 5 at the back and are comfortable in that. The other thing about Tavernier, of course, is he gives you that, which you were mentioning earlier on at the start of the game. You know, set pieces, free kicks, corners, and if they get one, a penalty kick will be his.
Goals, he is Rangers' top scorer in the league this season, James Tavernier, despite being a defender. Diamande will be pleased with his day's work. Rangers looked all at sea when he was watching on for the bench in the first half, but since his introduction the tide has completely turned. Araujo for Celtic on the halfway line, plays the ball back in field to Ralston. Wilfred Nancy's press conference is going to be box office after this, Pat. What is he going to say?
I mean, whatever he says is going to be wrong. That's the point. Whatever you say, it'll be torn to shreds. But he will come and possibly say that the team was very good in the first half, and that is absolutely true. And the simple answer to that is games last 90, not 45 minutes.
And in Danny Rowe, well, Rangers appear to have got a very shrewd tactician now. Came in quite unheralded. He has propelled the team up the league, and even today, no panic. First half completely went against them. Crucially, did not concede more than once when they could easily have done so. And then how they've been able to reassess and reconfigure and come out and score the 3 goals in the second half. And Rangers fans are going to be really expectant to see where this team now goes under Danny Rowe.
Yeah, and Celtic will make a few more changes now, and you wonder, particularly Kieran Tierney coming off, that usually has to protect him much of anything else because Scales comes on for him. But making these changes this late on, it's just a hit and hope. It's no more than that. Celtic for the last 5 or 10 minutes just haven't shown the urgency you'd expect.
Tierney and Ralston, 2 of the back 3, making way for the introduction of James Forrest and Liam Scales, and that can't be a nice task coming on in the 88th, now turning into the 89th minute. Your team 3-1 down at home in the Old Firm derby. Liam Scales, who's never been on the losing side in a home Old Firm derby, but that seems certain to change now. James Forrest, on his 550th appearance for Celtic, he would have wanted it to be a much more joyous occasion. Forrest, who's played in so many of these, this is his 35th Old Firm derby. But Celtic in disarray as Rangers are ready to celebrate the final whistle. We've got another 90 seconds to go until we see what's added on for stoppages. Celtic goal here would make it an exciting finish, but there's been very little evidence that they've got that in them. Barrett is beaten to the ball on the far side, and it goes out of play for a throw-in.
Do you know, it's very, very noticeable the fact that you expect Celtic to have this late, dramatic, exciting finish to the game. And it's just petered out, hasn't it? It really has petered out. It doesn't look as if there's enough energy and enough belief in that group of players there. And one of the other things, it's emptying very, very quickly, this stadium. We've seen lots and lots of green seats there, maybe not surprisingly, but the ones that stay behind, you'll hear an unusual thing. You don't often hear boos at the end of games at Celtic Park. I think it may be quite critical here.
Boos and worse, you would imagine, coming Wilfred Nancy's way. And Schmeichel here scampering across to keep the ball in play. Such uncertainty for these Celtic players now. They look at the ball given away again. Scales has to clatter in to try and hold on to it, but he won't. Here comes Tavernier for Rangers. Can they turn the screw here? Can they absolutely twist the knife on Celtic? 4-1 would be humiliation on top of humiliation for a Celtic team who, at half-time, Pat, we're all singing their praises.
Yeah, and rightly so. They played extremely well. They made a huge amount of chances. They were absolutely awful in finishing off those chances, and they have continued that for the second half as well. Whereas Rangers, their finishing's been absolutely exceptional.
First Old Firm League derby for both head coaches. And the change or the difference in mood between Wilfred Nancy and Danny Rowe is immeasurable at the moment. 2 balls on the pitch and Celtic trying to take a free kick, and it just sums up the absolute chaos that they've become enfolded in. Rangers are going to run down the clock by making another late change here. Myopski is going to come on, the Macedonian. It's his first taste of an Old Firm derby here. He has played against Celtic at Hampden and Ibrox in the past, and in a mirror image to the unwanted experience that the late Celtic substitutes have coming on. What a nice pleasure this is for Myopski. He replaces Chermiti, who will be given nothing less than a hero's ovation by the Rangers fans. Bouncing up and down to our right hand side, 2-goal hero Youssef Chermiti. What a performance from him today.
Yeah, he's been very good, particularly in the second half, and whereas in the first half he was being out-muscled consistently by Trusty, his movement was better in the second half. If you're not going to out-muscle somebody, then that's a bad tackle by
Myopski's just come on,
very
clattered into Scales, and he gets an immediate yellow card.
Scales can't stay down there. He needs to get up. It's one of those ones where Scales is clearing it and he's just left his studs in there. Yellow card, correct again.
Araujo for Celtic. Surely their race is run today, and the title race becomes more difficult. And of course, Scottish football, the tight nature's top of the table. There's always chance of redemption. Celtic's games coming up. They're at home again next Saturday. They host Dundee United here, but that is going to be a long 7 days in Celtic Football Club. The narrative here, the noise is going to be deafening. As Celtic come forward down the right-hand side. Forrest tries to clatter one in. Araujo, Rangers back defending with everyone inside the penalty area. High leg inside the box was a little bit dicey there from Conor Barron. Did he get the ball? Did he connect with the teammate? The on-field decision from the referee is to play on. VAR will look at that in the background. Frankly though, even a late penalty at this stage for Celtic would not be enough. Ball played into the penalty area. Might have been a handball of Fernandes, though it was down by his side. Celtic trying to get the shot away, and it's prodded out and away from danger. And Rangers, with sheer weight of numbers here, repelling Celtic at the moment. Here comes Engels' delivery in, and they can't get ahead to it in the centre, Celtic. And it'll be a sprint by Scales to keep the ball in play down by the corner flag on the left-hand side. And they can't down tools. They can't be seen to give up here, Celtic. But they must know that they're not going to score 2 goals here. They've simply run out of time. This is Trusty. Over to the right-hand side. Forrest. 12 yards outside the penalty area. 3 defenders in front of him, gives the ball away. Picked up by McGregor for Celtic. Out to the right-hand side to Araujo. Can he deliver in a cross? So many players inside the penalty area waiting for it. High ball comes in eventually. Too many defenders back there. Suter does well. Celtic will hold on to it. Attacking position on the left-hand side with Hatate, but then he can't pick out a teammate, and he needs some help here, and Yamada tries to help out. And this is Hatate actually just outside the penalty area. Over to James Forrest on the left-hand side, near the byline that Celtic attacked, looking for a late consolation here, looking to soften the blow. Callum McGregor to the right-hand side to Araujo. Araujo with the socks down low. Tries to drill it in the near post, and down goes Butland. He's already been beaten in his near post today. He wasn't going to let that one in. Pushes it out for a corner. Corner to Celtic on the right-hand side as they come forward. The clock ticks on, and we've almost played 4 of the 5 minutes that were being added on. McGregor, after the short taken corner, gives it back to Araujo. He tries to send in a cross. It's blocked again. It's another corner to Celtic, but frankly, half their supporters now have seen enough and depart to the ground.
Do you know what? The pace that Celtic have played this last 2 or 3 minutes is the way they should have played after going 3-1 down. But they've left it to these last 2 or 3 minutes. That really isn't good enough.
Here comes the corner, the latest in swinger. Raskin underneath it for Rangers. And they are beginning to savour these moments now. And if you play for either of these Glaswegian clubs, there is nothing more important than winning this fixture. And to win it away from home is sweeter, and to come from behind to win it is sweeter again. As the ball is cleared and headed away by Emmanuel Fernandes. Rangers have abandoned all notion of attack now. Everyone's back defending. Another high ball into the boxes. Too close to Jack Butland, who gathers to a roar for the Rangers fans. And frankly, Celtic are out of ideas today.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a raise in the tempo for the last 3 or 4 minutes, but that's nothing. That's Rangers just sitting back saying we'll defend what we've got, and it's not been enough.
It is all over. And it is 3 wins in a row now for Rangers, who move level with Celtic in the table. What a revolution it has been since Danny Roll's arrival in October, back when they were 13 points off the pace. They're now within 1 win of Hearts. It is back-to-back defeats for Celtic. What a disappointing few days for Wilfried Nancy. What a difficult and disappointing month of his tenure so far. That is 6 defeats in 8 games for the Celtic head coach. They continue to be absolutely chaotic under Wilfried Nancy.
And you listen to it now, you hear the music in the background, that's put on a full volume to drown out the negativity that's around this stadium just now. But to see our team going to playing so exceptionally well, that first 45, to being like, absolutely without ideas in the second half. But let's take nothing away from Rangers. They had a big job to do in that first half. Very, very poor, giving loads of chances, living by their fingernails, got in at 1-0 down, but the reaction in the second half was exceptional. And when they got their chances, they took their chances, and they took them exceptionally well. The question will all be about the Celtic manager. But in the midst of all this is an historic day for Rangers as well.
The story on the pitches, Rangers, a second half comeback after Yang had put Celtic in front midway through the first period. But 2 goals from Chermiti, a quite brilliant strike from Mikey Moore, sees Celtic win 3-1 away. Sees Rangers win 3-1 away at Celtic as the 449th Old Firm derby ends in a memorable win for the visitors. But now the attention turns to the Celtic head coach, and what in the world is Wilfried Nancy going to have to say about this?
Where do you begin with all of this? Wilfried Nancy at full time shook Danny Roll's hand. Danny Roll put a consoling arm around his shoulder, and then Nancy turned and walked down towards the tunnel and through the green doors, a man alone with his thoughts. There was no going onto the pitch to shake his players' hands. There was no going on the pitch to shake the referee's hands, presumably because of the vitriol that would have come his way if he'd have stood on that pitch. And that is in complete contrast to Danny Roll and Rangers, who are celebrating in front of their fans in that corner right now. They are level on points with Celtic. They are level on goal difference with Celtic. Celtic are only ahead of them on goals scored now. And of course Hearts 3 points ahead of them both with a game in hand.
And you look, Celtic were after a little bit of a rally, a couple of games, Livingston there particularly went 4-2 after a difficult start. Then Aberdeen, you thought, well, maybe that's you can't look at it like that now. You're looking at 6 defeats in 8 games. That is unimaginable for Celtic Football Club in kind of almost in the modern era. And the manager's come in and he will be absolutely and utterly shell-shocked by what's going on around him just now. The noise that he'll be hearing from, I'll give one piece of advice. Don't like giving advice to managers. Don't listen to social media and don't listen to phone-ins, because it's going to be absolutely horrendous. But I'll tell you one thing, chappers. Yeah, you've got a bit of stick, Nancy, and they'll need to think about decisions about him in the short and medium term future. But in reality, that's not where the anger's been aimed with the Celtic fans. The anger's been aimed at the board. That is 100%. I've seen 95% of it's aimed at the board and 5% at the new manager. I think that a lot of the Celtic fans are looking and thinking, A, he's not had time, or B, he's just the wrong choice. Is that his fault? Or is that the people who made the decision? I do feel very sorry for him. He's going to have to front it up himself tonight. But that's one of the toughest jobs in football, to do that, because he's walking into an environment. I just think he'll be a bit of a rabbit in the headlights, being able to cope with it.
And look, Celtic are the story, and I will come back to them. And by the way, Aston Villa have beaten Nottingham Forest by 3-1 to go second in the Premier League. But the way Rangers won today is also a fascinating case study into a fan group's relationship with coaches and the board. Because Rangers match winner, really, Rangers goal scorer today in Chermiti was kind of used as a symbol of everything that had gone wrong with the Rangers hierarchy 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, wasn't he?
Which can tell you a big thing about football. It can all change very quickly. Celtic are not out of the hunt for winning the title. It didn't look like it just now, but they're still within points of catching Hearts. They're level with Rangers just now. They're just learning about a new manager, so you never write any of these things off. But the fact that Celtic have been so far ahead and have almost, as you correctly say, been laughing at Rangers and some of their players, and particularly at the start of the season, laughing at what looked like complete disorganisation within the club, and now they look in the mirror and think, oh, that's absolutely, that's what the Celtic fans are thinking just now. And it's very difficult to know what to do, because do they go and make the extreme decision of saying, right, it's okay, it's not working with this new manager, he's come in from a type of football and a type of environment is so alien to this that it's going to take him too long to change it. If they do that, what do they do? They go back to Martin O'Neill again. I'm saying that, and there's a bunch of Celtic fans shouting, yeah. They'll take that in a second. And maybe they should have let Martin O'Neill keep it on going for a while longer, because when Nancy came in, it's tough games. In a cup final, they had Hearts, who are at top of the league and flying. They had to play against Roma, and they got hammered by them. So immediately they were on an absolute downer. Had they let Martin O'Neill go through that wee period, it might have been a wee bit easier run for the new manager coming in. But now it's in a tailspin, and I've talked all the way through this game about confidence, the fact that in that second half the utter belief and confidence and quite brilliance that Celtic had in the first half utterly evaporated. And when that can evaporate, and every other team in the league sees it. Every other team sees it.
Are they? And I don't want. I'm not trying to make you say something sensationalist here, but is this Celtic squad any good? And by that I mean they were poor under Brendan Rodgers. They then had this revival under Martin O'Neill, and now it looks like they've reverted to type. I mean, Chimiti's second goal came from a Celtic throw-in. They threw the ball to him and he ran 25 yards and wasn't challenged. There were lots of misplaced passes. I'm not, as I say, I'm not asking you to be sensationalist. I don't know. Do you?
I'll tell you the truth. The truth of it is, and I'll tell you, there won't be a Celtic fan out there that would disagree with me. They're not as good as they were when they played against Bayern Munich in that European game, when they looked as if they were on the cusp of being a very decent team that could hold their own. Not just in Scotland, they could win the league in Scotland almost with ease, but they could hold their own at a very good level in Europe. And from that team to the group that's here just now, no, they're not good. They're not a good team in comparison to that. And if you've allowed it to slide that far down, and the big argument comes from Celtic fans, they'll say, wait a minute, we've got tens and tens and tens of millions, some people say 50, 60 million in the bank, and the money hasn't been spent on the pitch, and they've cashed in on a number of players that they've sold on, which you can't believe that they've done that, considering it's just weakened them, and the players that have come in their stead haven't been anywhere near as good. Now there's been wets of bad luck as well, and on top of that, one or two really important players are injured just now, but that's part of football. So are they any good? Well, they showed in the first half they are good when they're allowed to play. Are they as good as they were a year and a half, 2 years ago? No.
And finally, Rangers are in the title race, aren't they?
Yeah, which is rather brilliant. You've got a title race, because there's been many years in Scotland here we've had to almost try and add some excitement to it, find a story for himself.